30, all deals with roof credit.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and it's that time of the year again. Time for the annual Happy Honda Days at Honda of Lincoln. With me on the line, Andy Goodyear, to tell us all about it.
The exciting news is we have more selection and more savings. We have over 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from, with a great opportunity to get year-end savings on every remaining new 2025.
Do you have some Happy Honda Day specials?
Sure do, Charlie. For example, you can lease a new 2025 Accord Sport Hybrid for just $349 a month, and we have financing from just 0% APR. We've also included over 125 pre-owned of all makes and models. And as always, our certified pre-owns are in this sale as well.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with 3 weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
This is a presentation of Nebraska High School football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. High school football broadcasts are powered by Edward Stone, Sunbelt Rentals, Union Bank and Trust, Doane University, Hamilton Telecommunications, Jimmy John's, Nebraska Army National Guard, Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, and Play It Again Sports. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman.
Welcome back into Memorial Stadium as we get ready to crown the D2 state champion here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here in just a few minutes, it's a Class D2 matchup between 4-seeded St. Mary's Cardinals versus the number 6 team in the bracket, the Wynot Blue Devils. We come to you live from the 6th floor of the West Side here at Memorial Stadium in the capital city alongside the Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. I'm Nick Sainert. We are pleased to be bringing you state championship football here on a Monday afternoon. Jay, D1 title game this morning saw Sandy Creek blow out Crofton in a blowout fashion to take home the D1 championship. Here in D2 with Wynot, St. Mary's, one of these teams making history for their respective school. On St. Mary's side, looking for their first title since 2002. For Wynot, it could be their first state championship in school history.
Yeah, more importantly, both of them has had a really good season. You know, obviously St. Mary's 12-0 and Wynot 11-1. So something's got to break today. And then I think, you know, when you have these smaller schools, it's definitely the more exciting game. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for St. Mary's, as I mentioned, trying to get their first state title since 2002. They knocked off Lindsay Holy Family by a score of 22-8 way back in 2002. Since to win the D2 title, their only state championship before that for St. Mary's came in the C2 class back in 1984 in a 39-15 win against Grant. But for Wynot, they've been here just one time before, back in 2023. They lost in blowout fashion, 50-12 to Sandhills Thedford, the co-op out there in Class D2 action. Here today, though, as the 6th seed, coming in off of a couple of big wins, and obviously Wynot on the year 11-1 with that one loss coming back in game number 3 to Archangels Catholic, has a chance to put and etch their names into Wynot history forever with a state championship today. Let's preview first for the St. Mary's Cardinals today. Once again, they come in with a 12-0 record, and they start and they go and they either succeed, or they fail based on the play of their quarterback. A lot of times, all 12 games this season, Gage Hedstrom, the 6-foot, 180-pound senior quarterback, has kind of been somebody that's really led the way for the St. Mary's Cardinals this season. Hedstrom completed 67.7% of his passes for 1,964 passing yards. How about this? 40 touchdown passes, but that's not all. Obviously, in D1, D2 football, a lot of scoring with a little bit of a condensed field, both lengthwise and widthwise. He also runs it incredibly successful. 1,796 rushing yards for the St. Mary's quarterback to also go with 35 more rushing touchdowns on the year. You do the math there, Jay Foreman, 75 total touchdowns for the St. Mary's Cardinals quarterback.
Yeah, number 2 definitely, stirs the pot, but more importantly, he's a great overall all-around athlete. You got to remember, Nick, he was at the state basketball tournament and was their leading scorer. So that, nothing's changed. It's a different sport for Mr. Hedstrom. And, in this type of atmosphere, one guy can win you a game. And obviously he's been pretty much unstoppable this year. All 12 victories there for St. Mary. Yeah,
St. Mary's a school with just 27 27 athletes, I should say, that have gone out. That's their NSAA enrollment, is just 27 folks here for the St. Mary's Cardinals. So a lot for Jay and myself. And if you're at least somewhat of a follower of high school sports at the state tournament or state championship level, you're going to recognize probably a lot of these names that we talked about back in March. How about this one? 2 more for St. Mary's. Ben Barlow and Lane Bybee, 2 of the top targets in the pass-catching game. Ben Barlow leads the way, 61 catches, 989 yards, and 20 receiving touchdowns. Lane Bybee, 28 catches, just shy of 500 receiving yards on the year with a total of 7 touchdowns. And then even James Eby, 18 catches, 265 in the receiving game, and 7 touchdowns for him. Maybe there's a narrative out there that in lower class of high school football in Nebraska, all it is run. Just obviously, there's the field. These guys, as we saw even earlier with Sandy Creek, they can throw the ball around the yard a little bit.
Yeah, I think that narrative is probably about 10 or 15 years old now, and I think they even though they're smaller classes or lower classes, they play football, and they're definitely exciting. You see some really good athletes and they're tough-minded kids. You got to play a lot of football. You got to love it because you're not only trying to score on offense, you're trying to stop the opposing, opponent on defense as well. So this is going to be really exciting here in a couple minutes.
There's not a lot of similarities, or I should say common ground between these two teams. Obviously, there's sub-districts and even larger playoff brackets when you're talking about D1 and D2 just because there's more schools. It's not your traditional just 16-team bracket like we see in Class A, B, and C. But here in Class D2, there's only one common component of these two teams' seasons between St. Mary's and Wynot, and that's that they both played Creighton this season just a couple of weeks apart. But how about this? There's some similarities here in the fact of when I should say that the St. Mary's Cardinals knocked off Creighton by a score of 66-28, where for Wynot, who we'll talk about in just a second, also beat Creighton 60-26. Now, this isn't bash on Creighton segment, but what I am going to say is that both of these teams took care of business for the better half of the season. Now for the Wynot Blue Devils, a team, they won the toss a few moments ago. We're going to see their defense take the field first. Lane Hymas leads the team in tackles, 115 total tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss to lead the Wynot Blue Devils defense. Carter Hans has 5.5 sacks on the year. Cotner Cook, 7 INTs. Braylon Hans, 4 INTs for the Wynot defense. Certainly a thing that can sway a game like this, Jay Foreman. Turnovers, stopping the opponent on third downs. We saw the differences in that in the D1 title game this morning, but then also just trying to get the opponent off schedule.
Yeah, they got to try to get them behind the chains because they can flip the field really quickly. When you look at Wynot and their ability to, when you have a leading tackler with 115 tackles and you have in Haynes with 7 interceptions, that's the front end and the back end. So they probably feel very confident trying to stop this high-powered St. Mary's offense. And so it's going to be interesting to see whoever's, the defense for Wynot is obviously really good. Offense, St. Mary's is really good. Whatever better unit has a better start to this game is probably going to win.
It was so interesting because in the D1 title game earlier today, we saw 2 sophomore quarterbacks lead their team in Cam Seeley for Sandy Creek, and then Preston Foxhoven for the Crofton Warriors. And Cam Seeley had himself a spectacular day as 2 sophomores took the stage. Here in this one, a little bit different under center for both sides. We already mentioned and talked about Gage Hedstrom, the senior quarterback for St. Mary's. But for Wynot, how about Devin Brummer, the 5'9", 155-pound senior quarterback here today? He played in that D2 state championship game just 2 years ago in 2023, and Brummer on the year, completing just shy of 70% of his passes, 1,700 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, a great TD to interception ratio, 31-3 for the senior Wynot quarterback.
Yeah, he's. I mean, I'm actually more excited than I originally thought to watch these guys go at it. The battle of the quarterbacks, battle of offense and defense, and both of them are very productive. When you don't have common opponents, Nick, that makes this game even more exciting because there's not that familiarity where you can say, we can compare what we did against a common opponent. Now you're just going to go out there and let it all hang out for a state championship.
Once again, we are just a little under 10 minutes away from kickoff here at Memorial Stadium as we are getting ready for the Class D2 state championship game between the St. Mary's Cardinals and the Wynot Blue Devils. One last note on the Wynot Blue Devils as a team rushing for 6.5 yards per carry, where for St. Mary's averaging 7.5 yards per carry. None of these teams have really been tested, I should say, in the scoring column. The most competitive, closest game for Wynot, obviously outside of their one loss to Archangels Catholic, was all the way back at the start of the year where they played a team that we saw in the D1 title game in Crofton, and Wynot, in fact, beat them 78-76. Outside of that, it's been lopsided scores, 73-6 against Winside, 57-6 against Bancroft Rosalie, 44-8 against Fullerton, 64-13 against Mullen. Really dominant season so far, especially in the last 9 games or so for the Wynot Blue Devils. For St. Mary's, it's been comfort all season long, at least in the scoring columns. Their closest margin was all the way back on August 29th, week 1, game number 1, in an 18-13 win against Twin Loop. Outside of that, it's been 20-plus point victories the rest of the way. We have just a few minutes until we get going here at Memorial Stadium for the D2 state championship game between the Wynot Blue Devils and the St. Mary's Cardinals. We'll get you ready for kickoff one final time, and we'll get things started here on a Monday afternoon in Chile Memorial Stadium right after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
Attention Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life. If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com. There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Memorial Stadium here, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Jay Foreman as we are getting ready to go here in Class D2 state championship action between number 4 St. Mary's and number 6 Wynot here in Class D2's landscape. Once again, thanks for joining us wherever you may be listening from, whether it's on the FM dial, whether it's on the mobile app that works everywhere, the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Allo Cable Channel 961 on our Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream. We appreciate you guys wherever you may be tuning in from. Feel free to reach out to us and let us know where you're listening from as well, as we are less than a minute away from kickoff here at a chilly Monday afternoon at Memorial Stadium. The temperature hasn't changed a whole lot since our kickoff of the D1 title game back at 10:15 a.m. It's gotten a little bit warmer, about 4 degrees warmer officially. It's going to be 54 degrees at kickoff. With the wind, it is calm today at about 2.5 miles an hour. The wind, the flags, I should say, standing next to each side of the scoreboard here at Memorial Stadium, barely blowing, if any. And earlier today, there was a slight breeze blowing through the north end zone here. Jay, as somebody that's played here, obviously you've watched a fair amount of games here. The wind is always a conversation, especially in games of this magnitude in the state championship. I mean, obviously we know about the Tristan Alvano game a couple of years ago where he goes 5 for 5. Really was probably a big part of why he got an opportunity to play at Nebraska, was because of how he kicked on this field. But even with the wind not blowing, can you still at times deal with the wind?
Yeah, you can deal with the wind because you'll talk yourself into what the wind is doing. And even if you feel it down there lower, when the trajectory of the kick gets up higher, it might not be the same wind velocity or direction. So really, you just got to trust on your technique and obviously try to kick it in the middle through the uprights. And it's a little bit different also, Nick, with the smaller field, with the actually college regulation field goal post in the background. So whoever can adjust and really just focus on what they have to do will probably come out a little bit ahead in the kicking game.
So Wynot won. They won the toss, I should say, and they elected to defer to the second half. And so we will see St. Mary's on offense first, which means Gage Hedstrom will be the first quarterback tasked with leading his team out there here today on offense. Wynot in their white uniforms, white helmets, white jerseys, blue accents, and gray pants, while it's a red out theme for the St. Mary's Cardinals. St. Mary's up back gets it, and he fumbles the football. Wynot's on it. Were they going to mark him down first? There's no real signal quite yet. Now there's an official signal. Wynot is able to jump on the loose ball, and just like that, a match made in heaven, a picturesque start for the Wynot Blue Devils.
Well, you know what you do is when you try to keep the ball out of Gage's hand, you try to kick it to somebody else as a squib kick, somebody that's not normally used to handling the ball. Also, they probably don't play on a lot of turf or a lot of field turf. That's also throwing up their ball handling, and it's a little bit colder. It's not as necessarily temperature cold, a little bit of moisture in the air. So big turnover right to start the game by Wynot.
So we saw earlier today where maybe the turf was tough with some footing, as well as the weather, as Jay mentioned. Maybe the ball's a little slicker than these guys are used to. It's been a pretty warm and comfortable fall up until this point, and we had some guys that maybe struggled to hold on to the football earlier in the day. Brummer takes the snap, tosses it left side, and getting escorted near the sideline is the ball carrier, number 34. That's Lane Hymas. Yeah. Hymas on the year leads the team in tackles with 115. Also the starting running back sitting at a comfortable 5'10", 155.
Yeah, Hymas obviously very active on the defensive end, but offensively, he lets you know he's going to come right at you and try to be physical. And right there, you get about 6 or 7 yards on first down. Wynot? It really likes their position right now in this game.
So Wynot now 2nd down and 3. Already in enemy territory after they recovered a fumble on the opening kickoff. A quick pass out left side. It's hauled in for a first down and then a couple extra yards just for good measure to number 20, Cotner Cook. Cook, a 6-foot senior, able to haul in his first attempt on the day.
Yeah, if you're Wynot, you want to try to take control of this game momentum-wise, and that's what they're doing. You got a big turnover to start the game, kind of caught St. Mary's and by shock, and now you're getting a first down. So you want to try to just eat up clock a little bit. So how quick these games can go, you want to control the time of possession as well.
Brummer in the shotgun, 11:15 to go in the first quarter here, just underway in the D2 state championship game. He turns, hands it off. Hymas once again. He will not get away from the defensive end on that one. Number 9, Lane Bybee, the 6'4 senior, able to make his first tackle of the day. And it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 now from still the 19-yard line here at Memorial Stadium. Once again, in Class D1 and D2 action, they play on an 80-yard football field. And so there's some temporary dimensional changes here at Memorial Stadium for our game that was this morning, and then obviously here today. But following this one, as we turn our attention to Class B later tonight, we'll go back to the 11-man football rules and dimensions on the field. Here's a quick pass left side. It's hauled in by number 6 in white. That's Braylon Hans, the 6-foot junior. He hauls in his first pass on this one. Good gain on 2nd down, makes it 3rd and 5.
Good play call there, right? You got stopped there by Bybee for no gain. You come right back. You get it to Hines, and you get 6-7 yards. So you're almost right back on schedule. So why not? I think their game plan early in probably the majority of the game is stay at or ahead of the chains to keep the pressure on St. Mary's, both offensively and defensively.
3rd down and 5 here. Devin Brummer in the shotgun with Hymas off to his left hip. 3 down linemen defensively, 2 wideouts far side, 1 to the near side. Option pass, left side, tosses it. Here's Hymas into the end zone, touchdown. Why not? So they take a fumble from St. Mary's on the opening kickoff. They recover it. They start their possession in enemy territory, and it takes just a few plays and a touchdown on the option toss from Brummer to Hymas to get Wynot on the board first. They lead at 6-0.
Yeah, really good play call there, right? You just kind of set up by the 6-yard pass and catch. You got it to Hymas, was able to get the edge. Look, it doesn't matter if you're playing 8-man football, 11 or Class D, D1, C or C2. You got to be able to set the edge because the outside perimeter is gold for a lot of offenses.
Here's Brummer. He steps back, looking around, now has to reverse course. He's rolling to his left side, looking downfield. He's standing at the 8-yard line, plants his body, throws across it back to the middle of the end zone. Did he haul it in? He did. The 2-point conversion is good. A nice catch by Killian Steinhaus. Yeah. And Steinhaus makes it an 8-0 game with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Great job by Brumner. They're staying it live, but then also keeping his shoulder square to throw the ball. He knew he couldn't, run it in for that extra 2 points. And then a really good job of throwing it to where only his receiver could catch it. Really good start here by Wynot. If you're Wynot, Coach Hymas, starting the game, or how you want to start this championship game, trying to pull an upset against St. Mary's, who's been rather dominant all year. You want to turnover and turn that turnover into points. Nothing changes, Nick. It doesn't matter if it's Class D2, A, C1, or whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter the state either, and it doesn't matter if it's high school, college, or pros. You got to keep the turnovers low. Mm-hmm. You got to take advantage of those turnovers if you're able to get them. But then more importantly, defensively, where St. Mary's, they're going to be talking about, okay, we got to do a better job of setting the edge. But then also we got to corral Brumner, because when you have 2 really good quarterbacks and maybe one's not talked about as much in Brumner as far as compared to Hedstrom, he's trying to get a shine on today, and he did a really good job on that drive.
8-0, Wynot here with exactly 10 minutes on the game clock here against St. Mary's. The Cardinals, hopefully, if they can hold on to this this kickoff attempt, they'll be able to send their offense back out onto the field for the first time here today. They trail it 8-0 here early on. But as we wait to just come back from media timeout, I was getting criticized on the text line, Jay, because I said earlier in the pregame as I opened up, it's a chilly day at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah,
it is chilly out here. I mean, somebody criticized me because they said, Nick, 54 degrees is not cold. I didn't say it was cold. It's definitely chilly.
It's chilly. There's moisture in the air.
It's been worse.
It's a bone chilling type of temperature, and just because it's 54 degrees, the real feel is probably significantly lower.
And there's no sun. There's no sun out here. So the kickoff from Wynot goes out of bounds. I don't know why I felt like I had to defend myself on that.
Nick, I wanted to ask you, when you're in Class D, D1, D2, maybe even C2 and C1, is it just a formality that you're gonna go for 2 every time?
In Class D, it is more so.
Yeah,
more so than Class C.
Yeah.
We were out in Class C1 to start the playoffs out in Malcolm, though, and they did that a couple of times. That was a great game between Lincoln Lutheran and Malcolm. A game Lincoln Lutheran probably still looks at and says,
man,
should have had that one.
Yeah, we had the control of that game for about 85% of the game and just lost it in the last 3 or 4 minutes. That was a well-coached game, a physical game, and we're probably going to see the same thing here against St. Mary's and Wynot. So it'll be interesting to see, what they do up front here. To try to, Parker Schmidt is, the nose guard is a senior. He's going to have a really good game for Wynot to try to start Hedstrom and company, because they're going to run it, they're going to pass it, and they're going to try to score big and hit you with explosive plays.
So after the kickoff out of bounds, it'll be 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Quick pass out on first down and tackled around the 28, 29-yard line area is the receiver there for the St. Mary's Cardinals. Ben Barlow, the leading receiver on the season. That was his 62nd catch of the campaign. Just for context and knowledge purposes, folks, when it's a touchback here in Class D2, you set up shop at the 15-yard line, and then when it's a kickoff out of bounds, you set up at the 25-yard line. So a little bit different there here in Class D2 on a 80-yard football field. Hedstrom keeps it on the quarterback power just up the middle. Short gain on the play, but makes it third and very manageable, 3rd and 1 coming up.
Wynot initially did a really good job there trying to stop him on that quarterback power, but he has strong legs and ran behind his pads and picked up an extra couple yards. Now they're essentially, 3rd and 1.5. So you talk about being at or head of the chains. They like exactly where they're at right now.
Ball is placed at the 34.5-yard line. Got to get to the 35 to keep this drive alive. Wynot showing pressure up the middle, and it's going to be a quarterback keeper with Gage Hedstrom. He gets stood up, but a second effort by Hedstrom. He's able to lower the shoulder and fall forward. That's something we always talk about a lot on when talking about Nebraska football, Jay. Hedstrom able to fall forward and move the chains, 1st and 10.
Yeah, Hedstrom, he looks not that big as a quarterback. He is strong, and he a good job, second effort, getting that first down. But why not defensively showing up with a nasty attitude, trying to hit and trying to wear them down. So I think they're going to take pride in trying to be physical with this St. Mary's offense.
Hedstrom just about 35 yards shy of 2,000 passing yards on the season, about 250 rushing yards shy of eclipsing that 2,000-yard mark on the season as well. Wide open passes caught by number 9 for St. Mary's. There's Lane Bybee. He tries to barrel across the goal line. He does. Up the near sideline goes Bybee, and Hedstrom throws another touchdown pass this season. That's his 41st of the year, 76 total touchdown that he's accounted for this season, and St. Mary's is a 2-point conversion away from tying this one up.
Yeah, Hedstrom is he's obviously having one of the better seasons ever in D2 history, and nothing's changing here today. It hit his another partner in crime in Bybee, and a little bit of a delay over route, and was wide open. I think it was a defensive bust for Wynot in coverage. Nevertheless, St. Mary's is back on the scoreboard. I think this is going to be back and forth, Nick, and I think whoever has that stop in the third, fourth quarter is going to have a leg up on the win.
Shotgun set. Here's the snap to Hedstrom. 3-step drop, looking, throws left side, has a wide open receiver in for the conversion as Ben Barlow is able to haul it in. The junior walks it in from 3 yards out, and we are all knotted up at 8 points apiece. Let's step aside here for 30 seconds. We're tied up in the D2 title game here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Memorial Stadium, 8-8. We're all tied up here in the Class D2 state championship game. Nick Sandert alongside Jay Foreman as it's a short kick fielded by the upback at the 26-yard line. And there's a little bit of a hole up the near sideline. Stiff arm to the St. Mary's Cardinals. Return man in coverage. And how about that, number 13 for the Wynot Blue Devils? That is Nixon Hymas, the junior. Gave Gage Hedstrom a little bit of the business, but Hedstrom ultimately won the battle, took him down, but not until the Wynot Blue Devils will set up shop at the St. Mary's 29-yard line.
Yeah, the momentum switch back and forth, and obviously Wynot is trying to win it on special teams, and a nice physical run there or finisher to the run by Hymas. Obviously, coach's son, he knows better not to be physical while dad's in close proximity watching.
1st and 10 from the St. Mary's 29-yard line. Shotgun formation as the quarterback, Brummer, has it, tosses it right side. Here's Hymas again. He thought about bouncing it outside. A good tackle there made on the play by Bybee for the St. Mary's Cardinals defense. Also in on the stop for the Cardinals defensive squad, number 18, Ben Pongratz. But nonetheless, a nice gain on first down of about 5 yards or so for the Wynot offense. Bring up second down and medium.
Yeah, Lane Hymas was hoping that Nixon Hymas set a better block, for him so he could get to that outside. Two brothers there. I think they must be twins, right? Really good physical run there, whereas Wynot is back on schedule trying to score another touchdown.
Second down and 5 from the 24-yard line. They turn, toss it left side. Hymas again trying to find some open real estate. A good job by St. Mary's just kind of corralling and closing that space up real quick. Hymas still does get about 2 yards on the play, though. 3rd down and 3 coming up from the 21-yard line, that is.
Yeah, Wynot, I think, is a little bit different in style of play versus St. Mary's. They want to keep things close to the vest. They obviously lean heavily on their running game and short passing game that's controlled, whereas St. Mary's can be very, very explosive in the run and pass game. But one thing I want to say about Hedstrom, being a quarterback, he's not afraid to come up there on defense and stick his nose in there for contact.
3rd down and short from the 21. Direct snap to Hymas as he tries to get across that 20-yard line. He does so just barely. He needed to get to what I believe is they have it at the 18.5, maybe the 19-yard line for a first down. We'll see what Rick Eisenhower, the head referee, has to say. He signals 4th down, and now it's decision time over on that Wynot sideline.
Yeah, here you go. I mean, this is the first pivotal moment in this championship game, and whether St. Mary's can bow up on defense and get a big stop, or Wynot can continue with the momentum, trying to continue to keep control in this first quarter. They came out and played excellent, both in special teams and defense, and they're trying to score some more points on offense.
All right, 4th and inches. Lane Hymas is going to be the one that takes the snap here as he's lined up in the quarterback spot. 2 fullbacks out there as extra blockers. We have a whistle before the snap on 4th down and short, and there's a penalty flag thrown from the back judge. They might get him for a delay of game. They did. Yeah. And so a little bit of a change at who was going to be taking the snap. Instead of Brummer, it was going to be Lane Hymas, the running back, and he forces or causes a delay of game rather, and now it brings up 4th down and 6 officially from the 25.
Yeah, like I said, the first pivotal moment, and who's going to break first, and right there now Brummer checks himself back into the game. Sometimes when you're running that wildcat, no matter how much you rep it in practice, it does throw off the timing of the offense and also the cadence that the linemen weren't used to hearing from their running back there in Hymas.
They'll still go for it. Brummer passes left side, wide open receiver in space inside the 10 goes number 20 for the Wynot Blue Devils. There's Cotner Cook, and Cotner Cook is able to get a first down and then some on 4th and 6. It's a gain of 17 yards, and it's going to be 1st and goal from the 9 now for the Wynot offense.
Really good route there by Cook. He got a lot of separation and then also broke a tackle and got some more yards after catch. Really good job there by going to one of their better players by Wynot and their offensive coaches.
Devin Brummer now 3 for 3 for 27 yards through the air here in the early going. We're tied up at 8, a little over halfway through the first quarter. Brummer tosses it right side. Hymas gets met by Bybee about 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, and it'll be taken down inside the 9 at the 7. So a gain of 2 to bring up 2nd down and goal from the 7 now.
Yeah, an A-man football, a gain of 2, with a running back like Hymas. So that's probably a win. That's a win in any level, actually, stopping them for a 2-yard gain. So now St. Mary's is thinking, okay, we got to defend a touchdown and possibly make Wynot go for a field goal. But there's not going to be many field goals kicked. But you want to make sure you keep them behind the chains to force them into a hard decision.
5:07 to play in the first quarter here in the D2 state championship game. Wynot on the doorstep, 2nd down and goal from the 7. And we have another penalty marker on the play, this time coming from the far sideline official, as it was going to be a handoff to Lane Hymas. Wynot's clapping their hands, and so we'll see what Rick Eisenhower, our head referee, has to say today. It is offsides against the St. Mary's Cardinals. And so that'll make it now a 5-yard penalty to make it 2nd down and goal from the 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the offsides there. I wonder if he lined up offsides or jumped offsides. You didn't see any contact between the defender and the offensive lineman. And so I think he was lined so far into the neutral zone, you have to call it and stop the play.
Yeah, you got to be careful of free rushers and that here. So half the distance to the goal makes it 2nd and goal. They'll turn. It's a direct snap to number 20. There's Cotner Cook again. He tries to barrel his way forward with the help of an extra shove from Lane Hymas. Unable to get to the goal line, but does cut the distance to go in half. It's now going to bring up 3rd down and goal from inside the 2.
Good job there by number 36, Eli Banks, coming from the backside and knifed in there and stopping them from getting a touchdown. So now they got defender. You got to think this is 2-down territory for both defense and offense, and see who can hold each other here or score a touchdown for Wynot.
3rd and 2. It's Cotner Cook and Lane Hymas in the backfield, and Cook takes the snap, and he walks in with a touchdown. Cotner Cook, with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first quarter, makes it a 14-8 Wynot Blue Devils lead.
Yeah, I mean, look, Cotner Cook has been that guy on the drive. He got the big 3rd down conversion, and then obviously they ran it twice in the Wildcat. Physical runner, good play call there, but even better finish there by Mr. Cook.
So 14-8 your score with a 2-point conversion attempt on the doorstep here as Brummer is back out there at quarterback. They motion Cook from left to right. Brummer looking left side, throws it down middle of the field. It was a wide open receiver across the heart of the turf, but unable to haul it in. A pass was thrown a little bit behind the intended receiver, number 12, Killian Steinhaus.
Yeah.
It is no good, and so now we stay at 14-8 with 4 minutes and change left.
You know, when you talk about pivotal moments in these type of games, you expect your opponent to score, you expect to score, so it's going to be, score for score. It's almost who doesn't convert the majority of their 2-point conversions. That might be it, or a costly turnover, which we saw on the first play of the game.
That drive goes 7 plays, 29 yards. It takes 4 minutes and 11 seconds off the game clock. And Wynot takes the lead back 14-8 on a rushing touchdown from 2 yards out by Cotner Cook. Cotner sometimes lines up at running back, but bulk of the time it's going to be as a wide receiver. But putting him in the backfield with a guy like Lane Hymas certainly is going to be tough to stop for any defense, let alone a St. Mary's Cardinal defense here in the state championship game. So Wynot has the ball teed up. They will kick it towards the north end zone here at Memorial Stadium. Wynot once again in those white jerseys where St. Mary's red out in the red helmets. A short kick. It's bouncing on the turf, fielded by the up back and jumped on. He lays down on the turf, does number 18 for the St. Mary's Cardinals, Ben Pongratz. And Pongratz just says, we want to keep this ball this time, and we're going to take over on offense 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line.
Yeah, you see the squib kick there, so they're trying to keep it out of Hedstrom's hands as far as being a returner, and they're trying to make everybody on that team besides him field the ball, trying to get another quick turnover and try to keep the momentum and swing the game securely on their sideline.
1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Empty shotgun formation, 3 wideouts to the far side for Gage Hedstrom, who's the quarterback of the St. Mary's Cardinals. Lined up, he takes the snap, looking, still surveying the pressure, all day to throw. Steps up, has a receiver downfield. It's a little underthrown. Did he high-point it and catch it? He did not. Ben Barlow unable to haul it in on that far sideline. He was in coverage with number 12 for the Wynot Blue Devils, Killian Steinhaus, and he was unable. He went up and got the football out of the air. He climbed the ladder, however, was unable to get those feet in on that far sideline. But man, oh man, Jay, can't stress it enough. If this St. Mary's Cardinals offensive line gives Gage Hedstrom that amount of time to throw the ball and survey, man, St. Mary's is going to be tough to stop.
Yeah, St. Mary's has some really good skill position players, and obviously Ben Barlow is a really good athlete, both in football and basketball. Really good job there, high pointed, just a little bit outside, was out of bounds, or else that would have been a catch that would have been something that could turn the momentum on their side.
It is a delay of game on the offense. And so,
see, I wonder, obviously with being in this big of stadium, Nick, and really not knowing where to look for the play clock, you got 2 well-oiled machines offensively. And I know they've had some time since they've made the state championship game, but 2 delay of games is not in the norm this early in the game for these 2 offenses.
2nd down and 15, they hand off the ball to the running back. First conventional run for St. Mary's today, and it's to number 21, Drake Berg, the 5'10 junior fullback, who also doubles as a linebacker on this St. Mary's Cardinals team. Gets it about 6 yards forward for a gain of 6. 3rd down and 9 coming up from the 26-yard line of St. Mary's.
Over under on how many punts we're going to have here, Nick?
3rd down and
4?
9. 3rd down and 9. Ball is on the 26-yard line. 3:36 to play in the first quarter. A quarterback keeper. Here's Hedstrom as he tries to just go right up the middle, and the cavalry of Wynot defenders there to make the stop. It's a gain of maybe 4 on the play up to the 30-yard line. It'll bring up 4th down and 5 for the St. Mary's Cardinals offense. We saw earlier today in Class D1 action where both sides, but especially in this conversation, Crofton, where Preston Foxhoven, their quarterback, would actually line up in what we look like as a shotgun formation, take a step back before the last moment and the ball is snapped, and go ahead and pooch punt it away. We'll see if either side here decides to do that same thing. Instead, they're going to line up more traditionally. Gage Hedstrom will be the punter, but he's lined up about 15, or I should say about 12 yards back from where the ball is snapped. But before we can do that, we have a delay of game once again on St. Mary's.
Yeah, I think they took that one on purpose so to give Hedstrom a little bit more real estate to punt. And the one thing that you can see that jumps off, obviously jumps off the field, and if you're watching on the screen, is Wynot game plan of making sure or trying to stop Hedstrom from running the ball. So they're willing to gamble on with Hedstrom as a passer, but as a runner, they do not want him to beat him tonight.
Really nice punt, bobbled at the 15-yard line by the return man. Great job in coverage there by number 36 for St. Mary's, Eli Banks. On the return for Wynot, it was number 6 in white for the Blue Devils, Braylon Hans. He doesn't go very far. He caught it at the 15, got tackled out of bounds at the 18, and so that is where the Blue Devils set up shop with 2.5 to play in the first quarter. They lead it over St. Mary's 14-8. Devin Brummer, the quarterback for Wynot, 3 for 3 for 27 yards on the day. Lane Hymas, 7 carries, 30 yards, and a score on the day as well for the Wynot Blue Devils. Here, handoff to Hymas right off the bat. Gets a gain of 2 to make it 2nd down and 8 from the 20.
Nick, you're seeing that one of the most important stats that we need to probably keep track of for the rest of the game is penalties, because that's the only way it seems that a team is not going to be able to score. And obviously, St. Mary's has 3 penalties for 13 yards, but they're huge penalties, right? Delay a game. Take the one that they took on purpose, right? So it's actually 2 for 8 yards, but that one delay a game was a big penalty because it got them way behind the chains and they weren't able to get a first down, let alone now they're playing defense.
Hymas to the right side of Brummer. Here's Brummer, back to pass, pump fake, now throws it down the field up the near sideline. It's hauled in. There goes Hans, inside the 10, inside the 5, touchdown. Wynot Blue Devils? Once again, they strike on a downfield pass from Brummer, this time to number 6, the junior, Braylon Hans.
Braylon Hans did a really good job of lulling the St. Mary's defender. I think it was number 6, Zane Cole, to sleep. He kind of just came off a little bit slow, and then he hit the jets. And then Brummer threw it blindly because they had some good pressure on him, a really good job of pitch and catch, and it allowed Braylon Hans to take it in for 6 points. A big play again for this Wynot offense, trying to keep that St. Mary's explosive offense on the sidelines, but also keep the pressure on their sidelines because they feel very comfortable with what they can do defensively against Hedstrom in the run game.
Brummer throws it to Cotner Cook, just shy of that goal line on the 2-point conversion attempt. It is no good. And so with 1 minute and 46 seconds to play in the opening quarter, Wynot leads 20-8 over the St. Mary's Cardinals. That caps off a 60-yard touchdown pass from Devin Brummer to Braylon Hans. 2 plays, 62 yards. It took 44 seconds of game time off the clock, and Wynot adds another 6 points. Jay, man, I mean, you talk about it. This Wynot team, we talked about it in the pregame, right? It's not just running. It's not just ground game. It is explosive plays, easy to match up one-on-one out in space, and these guys are taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and they're coming in, and they look like the more aggressive team. I think they obviously with their play calling, I'm sure that Coach Hymas has told them we're going to come in and we're going to try to overwhelm them with our aggressiveness and physicality. And so they come out and special teams get a turnover, turn into a touchdown, and obviously the 2-point conversion. And then they were able to get a stop, even though St. Mary's shot themselves in the foot. And then what do you do when you get it was a turnover on downs, which you think like a regular turnover. Mm-hmm. You get one-on-one coverage, throw it up to your really good receiver there, and Braylon Hines. Now you have a 2-score lead or 2.5 score or two possession lead, and you feel like you have control of the game, which St. Mary's hasn't been able to face much this year.
Here's Hedstrom on the return. He gets pushed out of bounds shy of the 30-yard line at the 29. That was kind of a funny. They squib kicked it again. It was fielded by number 3 for St. Mary's, Ben Barlow. He turned around and tossed it to Gage Hedstrom, saying, all right, you don't want to give it to our playmaker. We'll go ahead and toss it back to him. Gage Hedstrom ran the rest of the way up to the 29-yard line. That's where they set up shop, 1st down and 10.
There's a lot of game left in this, a lot of time left in this game. So if I'm St. Mary's, I'm not really pressing, but I'm also a little bit wary of what we've been able to do or not been able to do offensively. We haven't been able to get our quarterback run game going, which really makes our passing game go. So you might have to lean on your passing game and go to your quarterback running game a little bit later in the game.
1st and 10 from the 29. They hand it off here to Berg. Berg goes nowhere, but we might have a face mask coming in as there were a duo of Wynot defenders. Not only did Cotner Cook, but also number 10 for Wynot, Carter Hans, in on the stop for the Blue Devils. And Rick Eisenhower, our referee, says it's a face mask. So that'll give the St. Mary's Cardinals an automatic first down, despite it just being about a 1 yard gain on that first down play.
Yeah, the excitement of stopping them for a 1 yard gain, goes away with the inverted face mask. Now, I'm sure it's a 15-yard penalty because that was part of the tackle. But if I'm Coach Hymas, I'm fine with that. You see him down there that is, calling the plays with the red gloves. He's probably fine with it. They feel like they're winning the game from a physicality standpoint. Inadvertent face mask, by the way of your aggression, as a coach, you're probably okay with that right now.
So it's going to be up first down and 10 now from the plus side of midfield. They're at the 35-yard line of Wynot. Shotgun snap. Nobody was back there with Hedstrom. He's looking around. He dances. He still dances, still buying time. Now just dumps it off to Drake Berg, the running back, out of the backfield inside the 30-yard line, tackled out of bounds at the 27. And that'll be a gain of 8 yards on first down. Good job of being patient by Hedstrom, not forcing it either. Yep. Just slipped it out to a late cutting running back in Drake Berg.
Wynot has a really good game plan here, right? They're rushing 3 and with a late add from a linebacker and 4, and they're very strategic. They're not rushing all out to try to get the Hedstrom. They're trying to keep him contained. But Berg slipped out of the backfield for an 8-yard gain. So if I'm St. Mary's, I like it. I like the patience of our quarterback. And also the execution under pressure.
Lane Hymas has been the guy that they've kind of brought in through the middle with some pressure here at times. Now Hedstrom on second down, looking, throws it downfield into an open receiver. Touchdown, Drake Berg from 27 yards out. Gage Hedstrom delivers a strike down the center of the field, and we have another St. Mary's Cardinals touchdown. They trail now just 20-14 after a 27-yard strike from Hedstrom to Berg.
Yeah, just like that, but via the inadvertent face mask. It was obviously a 15-yard penalty. Then obviously you got 8 more yards after that, and then you get a touchdown to Berg, back-to-back plays. A little bit of a mishap. I think the defender for Wynot, you mentioned it before as far as the footing goes, fell down, allowed Berg to get open for that touchdown. St. Mary's is back on the mend and right back into this game.
So 2-point conversion coming up for the Cardinals. Hedstrom in the backfield, takes the snap, looking left side, now looks back towards the middle, looks back left. He'll run that way. He has some running room. Now he'll just tuck and run, and he trots in for the conversion attempt to become successful. Wynot had a player that was decked in the backfield, a nice block by St. Mary's.
Yeah,
but nonetheless, with 36 seconds to go in the first quarter, Jay Foreman, it's back to a 4-point ball game.
Yeah, just like that, St. Mary's cool, calm, and collective took advantage of the penalty that Wynot gave him by being a little bit too aggressive and got a big play himself. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, only down by 4. And one thing about Wynot, I mentioned that they're only rushing 3. Then they're kind of was doing what's called a mush rush. You're rushing and kind of just waiting for Hedstrom to run out of the pocket, but that sometimes works to Hedstrom's advantage because of the skill position guys that he has, and Barlow and Bybee can get open, and then obviously Berg as well. And so what you might want to do is pressure from one side, and then you're using Lane Hymas as your spy to really play on the other side, because if you just let Hedstrom and those skill position guys get a lot of time to run around, they're going to keep scoring. And if you're not scoring at a better pace, you could be setting yourself up for a loss. And the one thing I will also say about Hedstrom, Barlow, Bybee, Berg, I have a feeling they've grown up together playing in 7-on-7 and playing sports together. You can see the connection all the way up here down on the field.
And so St. Mary's kickoff will go out of bounds. It bounces it past that far sideline and trickles out of bounds, and so that means that it's going to bring up first down and 10 from the 25-yard line of the Wynot Blue Devils. Here as Wynot takes over on offense. Wynot does lead 20-16 here in this one at Memorial Stadium. And so 36 seconds to play in the opening quarter. What they might do is they might force St. Mary's to kick this one off again. And so they are going to force them to kick it again. Yeah. So instead of kicking it from the 35-yard line, they have to kick it from their own 25-yard line.
Yeah, which is obviously, I don't know if you're watching on TV, it's actually the regular 35. So what Wynot is trying to do is gain the yard special teams wise, and that's what's a really good coach's decision, because you want to get close as you can to scoring another touchdown, possibly before the end of the first quarter.
Deep kick fielded at the 11-yard line. Here is Cotner Cook rushing up the right side, and he gets pushed out of bounds just past the 26-yard line. And so that is essentially where it would have been placed if they would have just taking the ball out of bounds on the penalty marker. So nonetheless, they get 1 yard, forcing St. Mary's to kick it again. So it's going to bring up first down and 10 from the 26-yard line for Devin Brummer and this Wynot offense.
Yeah, if you're, one thing I'll say about Coach Hymas and this Wynot offense, and with Brummer leading the way, you came in aggressive. You got to play aggressive the whole game and, try to shoot your shot and win this state championship.
Fullback dive with Lane Hymas, and he goes nowhere. Gets upended. Gage Hedstrom had the right ankle as he helped throw him down, but the big bulk of the tackle came by number 36 in red. That's Eli Banks. Hedstrom got the bottom half while Banks took care of the top half.
Yeah, Mark Manning would be happy with Hedstrom there with a one-legged takedown and got almost a pin. Really good tackle there by Hedstrom, and then you got Banks there to finish him off with a physical tackle as well.
That is it for the end of the first quarter. Your score after 12 minutes of play, the Wynot Blue Devils 20, St. Mary's 16. We'll be back in 60 seconds here to start the second quarter from Memorial Stadium in the Class D2 state championship game on 93.7 The Ticket.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is time to start quarter number 2 here at Memorial Stadium. Nick Sandert alongside Jay Foreman from the 6th floor up here at Memorial Stadium here. Wynot leads as we begin the second quarter of play, 20-16 over the St. Mary's Cardinals. Jay, in that first quarter, man, it looked like there was a moment where Wynot maybe could sense blood in the water, and I know that's early to say it. Obviously, a lot of game is still left. They could have continued to add on to their lead, missed some opportunities. Give credit to St. Mary's. They're right back in this, down just 4.
Yeah, that crucial face mask call was an inadvertent face mask that was 15 yards, really got St. Mary's going, and then 2 plays later they were able to go Hedstrom to Berg. Now Wynot has to get right back on schedule. They've had the control of the rhythm and the pace of the game and the physicality is that goes. And so they want this quarter and this game to get back started. I think they feel like they own this game if they want to, where St. Mary's has the battle tested. They have the ultimate equalizer in Hedstrom. They got to get back in this game or potentially get back the lead by getting number 2 going, by the way, number 3. But more importantly, their defense has got to shore up the edges a little bit more with Hymas running that speed option or outside zone play.
Second down and 2 as we begin the second quarter of play. Brummer tosses it right side. Here is Hymas up that near sideline correction. That is number 13 for Wynot, rather. That's Nixon Hymas.
Yeah.
So I could have just kept on saying it. It's not Nixon, not Lane. But nonetheless, it's a gain of about 6 to make it third down and 4 coming up from the 32-yard line of Wynot. So a big chance not only for Wynot to maybe continue the drive, but for St. Mary's to get off the field here.
Yeah, early in the first quarter, it was a pivotal fourth down where St. Mary's got it, or a potential fourth down where St. Mary's got it. Let's see what Wynot does here and third medium to try to extend this drive.
Lane Hymas lined up to the left. They throw it his way as he just kind of flares out to the left side. Great job following it by Danny Berg in coverage as he takes down Lane Hymas. Also in on the stop was Eli Banks for St. Mary's. They're going to be about 2 or 3 yards shy of that first down marker.
That play when it originally started out looked like Wynot had the advantage. You had Hymas out there with a lead blocker. Really good job there by Berg of destroying the block. Not only that, he set the edge and then allowed his partner in crime, Eli Banks, who's been all over the field, Nick, come in and clean up that tackle there to make this fourth down call and his fourth down execution even more crucial there for Wynot.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Brummer punt this one away. He's all by himself in the backfield here on 4th down and short. One wide out each side. They can pass out of it, and it's going to be a pooch punt, almost blocked at the line, but it's going to take a very friendly Wynot bounce inside the 10-yard line, fielded by Hedstrom at the 6. He reverses course, almost got tripped up inside the 5. Instead, he's able to reverse back the other direction. He's got some running room up the near sideline. Bounces inside the numbers, still inside the hash marks, in between the numbers and hashes, crosses midfield, and finally is taken down at the 36-yard line. Rather, they're going to say that he was down before that, all the way back at the 37-yard line of the Wynot Blue Devils. Still, Jay, that took a lot from Gage Hedstrom. He reversed course a couple of times inside the 5, then inside the 10, came up the near sideline, and was finally tackled in enemy territory.
Well, now you see why Wynot won't kick him to get the ball on kickoff. Gage Hedstrom was back there, and he fielded it at almost like his 2-yard line, a la Deion Sanders. Had a huge return there. Big momentum shift there for St. Mary's.
Snap back to Hedstrom on 1st down. He's going to take a shot down the field, down the center of the field. Has a receiver. Barlow.
Wow.
It is in. Touchdown, St. Mary's. They take a 22-20 lead on a beautiful throw by Gage Hedstrom to his main man, his partner in crime, Ben Barlow. Barlow with his 21st touchdown of the season, and it gives the Cardinals the lead in the D2 title game.
Hedstrom to Barlow, which it will go down in history in St. Mary's. But that pass, Nick, was dropped in the bucket. That was beautiful, on time, on target. Really good play there. Really good play call. I like it. It was kind of almost the turnovers on downs after a big punt return. You keep the momentum, catch the defense slipping. Skinny post, great catch, high pointed by Barlow. Even better pass there by Hedstrom.
So now a 2-point attempt on deck for the St. Mary's offense. As in the shotgun here is Hedstrom. He takes the snap near the left side of his leg. Now throws it across the middle. Well, did he haul it in? And he did not. Incomplete pass that was intended for Bybee. Bybee fell short of the goal line. I don't think it even was caught on the play. We haven't had a really definitive signal yet, just that the 2-point conversion attempt was not successful. Nonetheless, the St. Mary's Cardinals will take some one play, 37 yards on a pass from Hedstrom to Ben Barlow to take a 22-20 lead.
Yeah, that 2-point conversion, it looked like he caught it, but I think his body, we can't see it. His body might have been in the end zone, but the ball might have been outside of the end zone. Nevertheless, it was obviously 2 points conversion that wasn't converted there for St. Mary's. But just think of the last 2 minutes, the momentum switch, it was from Wynot to St. Mary's. St. Mary's looked almost potentially dead in the water, got a big penalty score. They got a big stop right there, and then obviously a huge punt return there by Hedstrom. And then next thing you know, they're up by 2 points when they were down by, I think, 14 just a couple minutes ago. And so this is what you expect in a championship game with two high-powered teams, not just offense or defense, but have two really good players and quarterbacks that go back both ways, and they have also complementary players that have played huge all year. So it's going to come down to a crucial mistake, a big interception, or a mini run of 2 or 3 possessions of scoring with the other team not being able to do so. And it might just come down to, Nick, a couple of 2-point conversions that you weren't able to get. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this game ends for either side.
The St. Mary's kickoff will go into the end zone for a touchback. And, man, Jay, we talk about the momentum and we talk about the winds of change as you like to joke around about it. But it is feeling like it's firmly on that St. Mary's sideline over on the east side of Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, how quickly, because I felt like at the end of the first quarter or up until actually the last play by Wynot when they ran like a fullback dive in the middle, I felt like Wynot had the control of the game. Just a matter of, a minute and 16 seconds, a little bit before that, St. Mary's has all the momentum. Let's see what Wynot does now. This is the first time, really, Nick, where they've had to play behind the scoreboard and also behind the chains, and the momentum isn't on their sideline.
1st down and 10 from their own 15-yard line. Option play, left side. It's a toss to Lane Hymas. Great job tackling on the edge by Danny Berg.
Yeah.
And once again, Drake Berg, But one thing that I'll say about Berg, he was able to shed one blocker, and while he was laying on top of Nixon Hymas, who was the attempted blocker there, he made the tackle on Lane Hymas.
Yeah, Drake Berg has done a really good job there in that, I guess, kind of a slot nickel position, linebacker position of defeating the block, keeping the edge set, but then more importantly, going out there and playing football and making plays. He's been an ultimate equalizer against Hymas in the running attack, trying to get outside where they made hay in the first couple of series.
Quick pass out near side. It's hauled in, but then immediately dropped as the man on the reception, number 6, Braylon Hans. A trio of St. Mary's defenders led by Hedstrom, also in on the stop for the St. Mary's Cardinals, number 10, Keegan Couch. Both of those guys there initially to make the tackle. No gain on the play, maybe even lost a half a yard. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 9 from the 16.
Oh, they got to come back to that, Nick. Brummer missed Nixon Hymas on a go route where they're running a little bit of a smoke screen. Hymas faking like he was blocking and try to hit a 9 route. He was wide open. Look for him maybe to come back to that later in this game.
Shotgun formation. To his left hip is Lane Hymas. They turn, don't hand it off. Instead, going to throw this one down the field. It's hauled in. There goes Cotner Cook across midfield, across the 30, and he's taken down from behind inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. Another explosive play, this time for the Wynot offense, and it's going to be 1st and 10.
Yeah, coming into the game, you assume that Wynot was living and dying by running the ball, right? What everybody assumed you do in 8-man football. But they're making a lot of big plays in the passing game. I think they have really good skill position guys in Hymas and Nixon Hymas, and obviously Cook out there on the outside is definitely cooking. Brummer is playing big tonight in this championship game, trying to get their first championship in a long time.
1st and 10 from the St. Mary's 18-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wynot offense with 9:02 to play in the half. They turn, they hand it off on a reverse. Here is Nixon Hymas. He's trying to get to the edge inside the 10, and he's upended just shy of the 5, but now we're going to have a late penalty marker fly in from the backside judge. The ball is currently placed at the 6-yard line, so as it stands, it'll be 1st and goal until we hear what Rick Eisenhower, our head referee, has to say in just a moment.
Yeah, that was a good play right there, right? Where you got a big pass play out there to Cook on the outside, then you came back and you had Hymas. You maybe missed him on the go route. A little bit of reverse. He did a good job of breaking a tackle and getting the edge.
It is going to be a personal foul charged to Wynot. And so instead of it being 1st and goal from the 6, I would imagine that if they just move 15 yards from the 6-yard line, it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 21.
Yeah, that's a big penalty. That's a 15-yard penalty in 8-man football. That's equivalent of a 30-yard penalty, obviously, in 11-man. So now when you're 1st and goal from the 21-yard line, you got to think 4 plays, right? Obviously, you want to get a really good, efficient play on 1st down, then obviously be a little bit more aggressive on 3rd down, and then obviously, or not 3rd down, but on 2nd down and 3rd and 4th down, you're thinking about getting touchdowns. So this play right here is going to be huge. Now, we talk about pivotal points. This is it right here. That was almost a guaranteed touchdown in a couple plays afterwards. Not so much now at the 21-yard line trying to score against this St. Mary's defense.
It's a really interesting call. They called a late hit out of bounds, a call that we see more times than not go against the defense. Yeah. They actually called number 20, Cotner Cook, of the Wynot offense for a late hit out of bounds. That was the official word from our referee. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 21. Brummer tosses it left side. Here's Lane Hymas. Has to one guy to beat. He does beat him successfully. He gets near that 1st down line to gain, does Lane Hymas, before getting pushed out of bounds by Dalton Hurley.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's going to be a 9-yard gain on the play to bring up 2nd down and short.
Yeah, they flipped the formation away from Berg just to make sure that he wasn't in the vicinity to stop Hymas, and Hymas was able to get the corner, break a tackle there, get 11 yards. So now, or 10 yards, so you're thinking now, if you're Wynot, okay, we got 3 downs to get 10 yards for a touchdown.
2nd down and 1 from the 11-yard line. They'll turn, hand it off. Hymas right up the middle. Has the 1st down. He's going to get stopped at the 10, though. And so he does get stopped, and it will be a 1st and goal from the 10-yard line.
Yeah, I stand corrected. I thought that it was you would have got already 1st down and goal from the previous before the penalty, so you only lost actually 10 yards on that penalty. So now if I'm Wynot, I like where I'm at. We got an explosive play and the 1st down there behind me. So now we're right on schedule to start again to try to get this game and this momentum back to our sidelines with a touchdown.
22-20, St. Mary's with a 2-point lead over the Wynot Blue Devils, but Wynot is on the doorstep. 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. Shotgun formation, back to pass Brummer. Thought about throwing it to Hymas, decides to take a step, and now he's rolling around. He's stepping right side, throws it across the middle, into the back of the end zone. Touchdown! Wynot Blue Devils and all that traffic. Nixon Hymas comes down with the pass on a strike from Devin Brummer, and the Wynot Blue Devils take the lead right back.
Really good job there by Brummer, like he did on the 2-point conversion. He scrambles, then he squares his shoulders up a bit, it retreats a little bit, finds the open receiver. And I'm going to tell you, Nick, no matter who you have there covering these guys, when you're not able to corral these quarterbacks and obviously get them down within the first second or two, these skill position guys are really, really good. And so a good job there by Brummer to Steinhaus there at the back of the end zone. And Steinhaus beat their best defender in Hedstrom. So that's a big play there.
So a touchdown for the Wynot Blue Devils. Here's Brummer. Brummer trying to evade some pressure. He has two St. Mary's defenders chasing him. He's inside the 10, throws across his body. Does he have his receiver? He does. It's hauled in that time. It's number 12 on the reception. That's Killian Steinhaus. And Steinhaus able to haul it in. It's now 28-22 with 8:08 to play in the second quarter.
And you know, one thing I've been watching Brummer, how he's able to escape. Obviously this pass rush at St. Mary's is actually pretty good. He actually, beat Banks there not once but twice, and last one was with the dead leg. He takes the snap and then he feints like he's gonna, run a little bit. Then he retreats, so he really is herky jerky and it messes up the timing of the pass rush. Really good job there by Brummer. Even better job by Killian Steinhaus of staying alive and catching it the last two plays to get the momentum back. Now look, you got a 6-point lead or your 6-point deficit if you're St. Mary's coming out here. You got 8 minutes left. You know you're going to be in a dogfight. I think when you get to this championship game in D2, and especially when you have two high-powered offenses, well coached. They're able to watch each other probably for almost a week, leading up to this championship game. Getting on this bus and coming into Lincoln, that you were in for a game, and obviously on the vice versa on the other side. So St. Mary's is probably not gonna really blink an eye at this type of game and this type of pressure, and neither will Wynot. So the best team's going to win, but it's going to come down to the wire. Two teams right now with the ability to come back in the penalties, right? A crucial penalty, and then take advantage of it. That lets you know they're two well-oiled machines and really good coaches on both sides.
8:08 to go in the second quarter of play. It's 28-22. Wynot now back out on top by 6 points over the St. Mary's Cardinals.
Nick, do you think when you look at it, Wynot has almost 80 more yards than St. Mary's. Do you think that'll wear the St. Mary's defense out with their physicality and run game?
As we have an onside kick attempt, it's a little short one. It bounced off the St. Mary's Cardinals up man, but I think St. Mary's got it back. So I think here's what I would say is these guys are used to playing in conditions like this in terms of these types of back and forth game. We always talk about it often with maybe sometimes Class A, but a lot of times Class B and maybe C1 guys as well, where playing both sides of the ball can kind of take a toll on you. We don't really experience that with these guys. We're seeing guys like Gage Hedstrom who are playing meaningful positions on both sides of the ball, quarterback and then obviously linebacker or DB, also as a punt returner and kickoff returner, and he doesn't look like he's lost a step, and this is game 12.
Yeah, and also he's covering kicks, and he's doing everything. I think this is what they have grown up to do, and obviously the shorter field obviously helps them out, but also it's quick strike offense where you're not going 11-play, 12 drives.
Here's Hedstrom. He's going to throw it downfield. Wow. And wow, what a catch! A one-handed snag by number 8. That is James Eby up the near sideline. What a snag!
The little brother of Lane Beebe came up big right there with the one-handed snag up the sideline right when it looked like Wynot had Hedstrom in their crosshairs there. Look at this pass and catch. This is a big-time catch. Their body control, got 1 foot in, maybe even 2. That's a big-time catch there.
That's like the OBJ.
Odell Beckham.
Yeah. That was smooth by number 8, James Eby, the junior. How about that? Now Hedstrom back to pass on 1st down and 10. He steps back, throws off his back foot, has a wide open receiver. Guess who? It's James Eby again. This time it's a less spectacular catch, just more traditional inside the 15-yard line. But my, oh my, that's going to be one I wouldn't be surprised if we see on Sports Center.
Yeah, that's got to be sent in ASAP. That was a great catch on the sideline, the body control. Not even a toe drag swag. That was an NFL catch with 2 feet in there with the body control in the big-time championship. But more importantly, let's not forget, Hedstrom was placing the ball, allowing his receivers to make it. Both of these quarterbacks are really, really good and playing excellent tonight.
1st and 10 from the 14-yard line for St. Mary's as they try to answer that Wynot touchdown a moment ago. Here's Hedstrom rolling, pushing to his right side, has to get rid of it. He throws it near the end zone, almost intercepted. That's the first ill-advised decision we've seen from either quarterback on either sideline here, and it almost cost St. Mary's their possession, as that was Cotner Cook in coverage. almost came away with the interception.
Yeah, Coach Allen went over there to his all-star quarterback. So hold on now. If you're going to throw it out of bounds, throw it way out of bounds. You almost threw it into danger there to the Wynot defender. And so this might be the first drive where you're looking at Wynot's defense being on their heels, right? I think they've been telling themselves they've given up every touchdown that St. Mary's has got. Now I think St. Mary's is really starting to inflict their will on this Wynot defense.
It's 28-22. Here's Hedstrom trailing by 6, backpedaling, looking right side, gets tripped up, and he tries to throw it out of bounds. It did not make it back to the line of scrimmage. I think if you're St. Mary's here, you're hoping that he was down already, because if not, that's going to be a loss of down and 15 yards for an intentional grounding. But they're going to mark that Hedstrom's knee was tripped up and taken down. And so a little bit of a sigh of relief if you are St. Mary's, because that could have been worse.
No, they missed that. They missed it. Wow. Big momentum shift on a missed call there. That's hard to tell in real time. I don't know if they use instant replay, but St. Mary's with a little bit of gift there with 3rd and a mile, but it could have been 3rd and an extra 10 yards? 3rd and 33 instead of 3rd and 23?
Touchdowns and scoring plays are reviewable. We're going to see if this one actually, we're having a stoppage in play here. They do have replay assist here at Memorial Stadium. It is going to be a delay of game, though, on this penalty marker. And so what I was saying, though, is scoring plays, turnovers, those types of things are reviewable here. But a penalty flag of whether or not it should have been intentional grounding is not, unfortunately.
Yeah, St. Mary's did him a favor, got another delay game. So now it's all even, right?
All even, Steven. 3rd and 28 from the 32-yard line, a drive that had some spectacular plays and then also just a nice, easy pitch and catch, got him into the 15-yard line. Now, though, it's 3rd and a mile for this St. Mary's Cardinals offense. Hedstrom back to pass. Wynot brings 3. He steps up, looking outside, throws across his body, has a receiver inside the 10. It's hauled in, and now
we have
a major decision time coming up for the St. Mary's offense as a couple of guys got tangled up. Ben Barlow, first time we've called his name since the first quarter, he finally hauls in another pass. It's going to bring up, I believe, 4th down and 5 from the 9.
Nick, what about Hedstrom? Look at this. Look at throwing on the run, right on time to his all-star receiver. Good catch. A little bit of funny play after that. I think his cleat got caught into his defender's face mask. I've never seen that before. But this is the first big decision here. St. Mary's 4th down and a little bit of wild look for 5 or 6. Crucial down here.
They keep the offense on the field. Hedstrom dancing in the pocket, still dancing, plenty of time, throws it right side. It's hauled in. Walks in, touchdown, St. Mary's. On the receiving end, it's number 23. That's Logan Brabeck, the junior, able to haul it in on that far sideline for the score. And we are all tied up at 28 apiece.
On St. Mary's sideline, there never was a doubt. In my mind, I was like, there's no way they're going to score. And Logan Brabeck snuck out of the backfield. I think that's one of the things that Nick, that would, obviously I didn't grow up playing 8-man football, but it's like who's eligible, who's not, right? Because you could start out as what looked like an interior lineman, which is probably what they view as a tight end, and you can tight end delay yourself to a big play. Big, huge pass there by Hedstrom. St. Mary's on the attack.
It's a quarterback power left side. How about Hymas able to stop the quarterback Hedstrom? St. Mary's lined up with 2 running backs to the left side of Hedstrom. He was just trying to follow those 2 guys in his offensive line and just power their way into the end zone. But how about Lane Hymas just shot the gap, got into the backfield, and took down Hedstrom. So with 5:22 remaining in the second quarter, we're all tied up at 28 apiece. Let's step aside here in the D2 title game. Come right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
5 minutes, 22 seconds remain on the game clock here in a game that's certainly not shy on points, but also not shy on some big explosive plays. We're all tied up 28-28. Here's the return. Here's Cotner Cook up the left side for the Wynot Blue Devils. Barrels his way across the 30 and is finally taken down at the 31-yard line. Had a little bit of running room on that left side between the hashes and the numbers going towards that south end zone here at Memorial Stadium. But nonetheless, 1st and 10, and at the 31-yard line of Wynot is where this Blue Devils offense sets up.
You know, Nick, back to that 2-point conversion stop. That was a really good job there by Lane Hymas. He kind of shot the gap from the backside. He did something that's very, very crucial when you're playing a defensive lineman or linebacker. He got flat down the line of scrimmage. Huge tackle on Hedstrom to save a 2-point lead for Wynot.
Here is Brummer in the backfield, hands it off. Hymas, he fumbles the football. Ball is loose on the ground, and St. Mary's comes up with it.
And
it's a fumble on the play, Lane Hymas.
And Hedstrom is Johnny on the spot. Really good job there with that St. Mary's defensive line there. I think it was Banks on a physical tackle against Hymas. Good on good, and his other partner in crime is Hedstrom right there to fall on it. Now, look, we talk about as much as Wynot just made that crucial play, right? And obviously it was Hymas. Now he was just trying to get a couple yards. It's getting a little bit cooler. The temperature has dropped 2 degrees.
Don't let people know.
You know, I'm just letting you know. Okay, a little bit of moisture on the ball. It might be another turnover or two.
Here's Hedstrom up the right side on 1st down after the fumble. He throws it off 1 foot to a receiver coming back, and it was incomplete. Somehow, some way, Ben Barlow actually had a shot to catch that ball in double coverage. Maybe a little bit of a risky pass for the St. Mary's quarterback, Gage Hedstrom.
Where is St. Mary's? Where is that located?
I'll be able to tell you in just a moment.
Because those two dudes, man, I'm telling you, Barlow or Hedstrom and Barlow, if you're covering a receiver or a player like Barlow,
O'Neill, that's right.
He's always open.
It is O'Neill, Nebraska.
He's always going to make a play on the ball. It looked like there was not a chance that he could make a play on it, and he almost came up with another spectacular catch there for him.
Here's a snap back to Hedstrom. He's immediately met in the backfield by Lane Hymas. Hymas, who fumbled the ball that Hedstrom recovered just a moment ago. Hymas, these two doing battle because on the 2-point conversion attempt earlier, Hymas got to Hedstrom again, and now this time, Hymas sacks Hedstrom in the backfield for no gain. 3rd down and 10 coming up.
So Wynot is looking for a huge defensive stop here. So I think that this would be 4-down territory here for St. Mary's, but they're trying to get the ball back and obviously erase that turnover there by Hymas. Big play there, good on good. Hymas against Hedstrom. That's what you came here to see.
28-all here in the D2 title game. Here's Hedstrom looking downfield. He has a receiver open. It's hauled in. Barlow, touchdown. St. Mary's on 3rd and 9 from 28 yards out. A strike from Hedstrom to Barlow. And how about touchdown number 22 on the season for Ben Barlow as the Cardinals take the lead right back. It's 34-28.
Cotner Cook had a tremendous amount of pressure on Hedstrom in his face. Hedstrom to Barlow. I think they could make these passes and catches with their eyes closed or with the lights off. Man, these two guys are spectacular. All that's advertised and then some.
Gage Hedstrom, quite the basketball player, but man, oh man, he's making some throws and just plays both offensively and defensively here today that make you open your eyes a little bit. Here's Hedstrom on the right side. He reverses course, looking on a 2-point conversion attempt, still surveying, evading the pocket. He runs it right side, has a lot of running room, and he waltzes into the end zone, and the 2-point conversion attempt is successful with 4:14 to go in the second quarter. I mean, Jay, I understand that each side has 3 fewer players on there than what we're maybe accustomed to seeing, but it doesn't take away from what Hedstrom's really been able to do. I mean, because you talk about the ability to stay calm, composed when he's getting pressured like he is. Wynot's bringing the heat with just 3 guys, but yet Hedstrom staying calm, cool, collected, making the throws, making smart decisions.
Yeah, and his timely runs, it's like that on 2-point conversions are just backbreakers. And like I said, you know, I think Wynot is going with what's called a mush rush, where you're kind of going off the line of scrimmage and you're gaining ground but not really aggressive. And it's allowing Hedstrom to pick you apart, right? Obviously, we've seen Barlow. He has 92 yards. And obviously, you've seen Drake Berg. Obviously, he has 2 big catches, and one was for a touchdown. And in both the James E.B. and Lane B.B. with 2 and 3 catches, you know, respectively. They're going to have to try to take some chances to get him off rhythm, because now the slow start that he had, which led to your lead, they're clicking on all cylinders. And remember, Nick, just a couple minutes ago, I said, is it a big deal that Wynot leads in, as far as almost by 80 yards, in the total yards? Well, now look at it. St. Mary's is now leading by 9 yards. So just that quickly, that St. Mary's offense, a juggernaut, has gotten going from being down 6 points at one point in time. Now they're up by 8.
How about this, St. Mary's? How about this stat line for Gage Hedstrom through the air? 10 of 13 for 212 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. And there's still 4 minutes and 14. There's still 4 minutes and 14 seconds left in the second quarter.
And he has a rating of 340.8. I think he might be the greatest.
But even Devin Brummer on the other side's like, hold on now. I got a rating of 333. Here on the return, here's Wynot with a little bit of space is Cotton or Cook across the 30, across the 35, and down at the 37. But it's funny. I mean, Devin Brummer's sitting over here going, well, hold on, guys. Jay, Nick, what about me? I'm 8 for 8 with 144 and 2 touchdowns.
Listen, he's put everybody on notice that he is not secondary to anybody. And I got a text here from DP is saying that it's kind of funny. Gage Hedstrom looks like a little miniature Doug Flutie in red. And he does look like Doug Flutie, except for he's not 22. He's number 2. Brummer said, listen, I'm just as good. These guys are battling it out, and we're in for a great second half as well.
Here we go. 4:07 to go until the halftime break. And on first down, a quick pass out near side is hauled in by Cotton or Cook. Gain of 2 on the play up to the 39-yard line, and that's going to bring up second down and 8 with 3:54 to go until halftime.
Yeah, just a little quick pass there to get the rhythm back, I guess, on your side there. In a good tackle there on the outside. And now I think if I'm Wynot, right, you get the ball coming out of halftime. Let's see how much clock we can eat up before we try to score a touchdown to keep the St. Mary's offense at bay.
3 minutes, 35 seconds remain here in quarter number 2. It's 36-28. Second down and 8 from their own 39-yard line. Back to pass. Here's Brummer. Has yet to throw an incompletion down the field. It's hauled in. Cotton or Cook. I thought I might have jinxed it because I didn't think Cook was going to be able to haul that one in. In coverage was Ben Barlow for the St. Mary's Cardinals, but not good enough as Cotton or Cook up the near sideline hauls it in. It's 1st and 10 from the 11.
Well, you got Brummer to Cotton or Cook. You got Hedstrom to Barlow. 2, quarterback wide receiver combinations that are battling it out. I mean, I think Connor Cook was mad that we haven't been mentioning him. Brummer was mad. He told his buddy, he said, listen, we're going to show these 2 guys up there that we're just as good as St. Mary's offensive duo as well.
Cotton or Cook, 5 catches, 99 yards on the day. Handoff, Lane Hymas bounces his way through tacklers and then eventually gets taken down after a gain of 3 up to the 8-yard line. Officially, Wynot can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. The line to gain is at the 1-yard line. So if you want to mark it at the half-yard line and go 1st and goal, we can do that. Or you can just punch it in for the Wynot Blue Devils. It's 2nd down and 7 from the 8.
Well, Nick, if you're Wynot, are you trying to eat up more clock, or are you just going to be wanting to get touchdowns?
Toss out left side. Hymas makes one guy miss, and is tackled just shy of the 5-yard line by, I believe that is Eli Banks. Number 36, Eli Banks in on the stop. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 4 from the 5-yard line. And Wynot, who trails 36-28 right now, just 2 minutes and change ahead of halftime, are on the doorstep.
Yeah, Eli Banks has been all over the place, and he's came up with big tackles down in the goal line on the opposite end, but then more importantly, a touchdown-saving tackle there as well. If I'm Wynot, I'm looking at the clock. I'm looking at 2 more downs to get a possible first down. So this 3rd down is crucial. Probably you're going to go for it because you get the ball at the start of the second half. But more importantly, that's why you see Coach Hymas there with a timeout. You want to get a game plan here because you want to play this clock game. 1 minute and 47 seconds left. More importantly, you want to get the first down, and then you'll be able to really go into halftime potentially with the game tied.
Wynot takes their first timeout of the day. We will step aside as well. 30 seconds here, and we'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sander, Jay Foreman back with you from Memorial Stadium in the final moments of the first half here. 36-28 is your score, 1:47 to play. Out of the Wynot timeout, it is 3rd down and 4 from the St. Mary's 5-yard line. Empty shotgun formation. Brummer is all by himself in the backfield. He takes the snap, looks right side, throws a pass. It's out of reach for the intended receiver, as that is number 6 who was the intended receiver, Braylon Hans. He missed Lane Hymas running on the shorter pattern right near the goal line. He tried to go to the second level, and Brummer now has his first incompletion of the day, and it comes on a 3rd down attempt. So now that brings up 4th and 4 from the 5. And guess what? Why not keeps their offense out there? Why not, Jay Foreman? Empty shotgun set. Here is Brummer. As St. Mary's Nation starts to rise to their feet, they're going to try to hard count them, and now they will call a timeout.
Yeah, you got options here, right? You normally would go to Hymas there on the speed option to the short side or the wide side of the field, but then also you've been able to really connect with Mr. Cook. And so if you're Coach Hymas there, you just got to draw up your best, play call. You got a lot of offensive weapons, and you got time on your side. But more importantly, this is we talked about crucial points in the game earlier in the game. With a 2-point conversion, this is it right here. Because if why not, you potentially could score and then obviously tie the game up. If you get a stop, right, you get the ball back again coming out of halftime to get that momentum, shift that you started the game with. And so you got to plan for the future, but then also you got to, handle your business right now in the present. So this is a huge play call. You got to make sure everybody has attention to what their assignment is, but then more importantly, you have to make sure the guys that don't go both ways and play primarily defense, they have to go out and stop this juggernaut of St. Mary's in the old machine that's starting to really click on all cylinders, no matter what the outcome is on this 4th down. But this is a huge play in this Class D2 state championships with 2 excellent teams.
So here we go. 4th and 4 is Brummer in the shotgun from the 5-yard line, down by 8. Here's Wynot on offense into the end zone. Touchdown, Blue Devils. Cotner, Cook. Why anybody else but Brummer to Cook on that connection to make it a 36-34 ball game.
A little sneaky play there by Coach Hymas. He lined Connor Cook there at tight end and had Nixon Hymas there at the wide receiver. A little tight end delay to the corner. I know the feeling of that, seeing him run. That's old Dallas Clark there. If you're Austin Orman, if you're listening. Jay Foreman was victimized by Peyton Manning and Dallas Clark. It had been etched in my mind. Big play there by Why Not. Now a chance to tie the game up.
Tying it up with a 2-point conversion attempt. Here's Brummer back to pass, looking, trying to dance in the pocket. He's trying to evade pressure, escapes another tackler into the end zone. It's picked off, and they cannot advance it after a 2-point conversion. And so with that, Barlow, after the interception, just says, all right, I'm good. We'll relax. All right. With 1:37 to go in the second quarter, Jay Foreman, why not? They get a much-needed touchdown on the 4th down conversion attempt. They trail it still 36-34. Why not did win the toss, so they will get the ball to start quarter number 3. But I'm looking up at that clock, and I'm seeing Gage Hedstrom on that sideline. A minute 37 is a lot for the St. Mary's offense.
Oh, yeah, that's more than enough time for him and Ben Barlow and Lane Bybee to get busy. And so if I'm Coach Hymas there for Why Not, I'm going to go back to my deep shell on defense. That's where I think they've done a pretty good job early in the game against Hedstrom. But here, listen, you have to look at this. It's not only a minute 37 for Coach Allen and Hedstrom and St. Mary's, right? They have 3 timeouts, so they can take their time and methodically go down the field, especially, Nick, now it's decision time now, special teams wise.
Yeah.
Do you kick it deep and
risk it with
Hedstrom?
Yeah.
Or do you go to your squib kick and make it a short field to one of their upbacks if they're able to handle the ball? And so this special teams play.
And there's been 2 times where St. Mary's hasn't been able to handle the ball.
Right. And so
when you kick it short.
And you know what? For up until the last 2 series, and I would say mainly the last series, your defense has done a good job against St. Mary's offense because the previous touchdown was set up by an inadvertent face mask. And so if I'm, Coach Hymas, I'm not going to change what I'm doing. You're only down by 2, and obviously an 8-man football, that's nothing. And you get the ball coming out at halftime, so you're going to lean on this defense to not give up a big play to this high-powered offense at St. Mary's.
Make sure you stick around for the halftime show. We'll send it back to Austin and the crew back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios to take you through halftime as they fielded a short kickoff. It's fielded at the 26-yard line. A knee is taken by number 9 for St. Mary's, Lane Bybee, at the 26. So that is where St. Mary's sets up shop, 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line for Gage Hedstrom. Once again, this stat line, my friends, 10 of 13, 212 through the air, 5 touchdowns, no INTs. We still have 1:37 until halftime. Here he is in the shotgun formation, Hedstrom. 2 wideouts each side, looking. Hedstrom still surveying. He's
More
dancing
pressure.
in the backfield. They bring a 4th guy, and now Hedstrom somehow almost evaded pressure, but nice job there finally by the Wynot defense, and that's Kason Hans, who was in there to make the stop and the sack of Gage Hedstrom, who's slippery in that backfield.
Young Case, and the sophomore, comes in off the bench, and obviously he wanted to get into action with one of his older brothers. Good job there of chasing down Hedstrom there, and that's what you need. It was a little bit more pressure, Nick, right? A little bit. That's what you asked for, and the results is good with stopping them into a 2-yard gain.
It's a play that
or
took
actually a 3-yard loss.
Yeah,
excuse me.
it's a play that took 7 seconds off the game clock. 1:25 is what remains here in the second quarter. It's 36-34 St. Mary's. St. Mary's did take a timeout after Hedstrom was sacked, but we'll go ahead and keep it right here in the final stages of quarter number 2.
This is a huge down here, for St. Mary's, because if you're not able to get a pretty significant gain and say get 0 gain as far as a pass, right, or even a run that's stopped for no gain or minimal gain, now you're at the point where you're 3rd and 10 plus. Now it falls back on Wynot potentially getting the ball back. So this is a huge play here in this abbreviated 2-minute drill in Class D2.
2nd down and 13, 1:25 to play in the second quarter. Ball is placed at their own 23-yard line for St. Mary's. 2 wideouts each side. And Wynot brings one up the middle. Here across the middle, it's hauled. No, it's incomplete. Intended for Lane Bybee with 1:19 remaining in the second quarter. 3rd down and 13. But before that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman with you. 36-34 is your score. 1:19 remaining in the second quarter. Wynot trails by 2, but they have a chance to get off the field against a team they have struggled to stop ever since the first drive of the game. They trail it by 2 to the St. Mary's Cardinals offense, and Gage Hedstrom. Hedstrom back to pass, looking. He's going to take a shot downfield for his man, Ben Barlow. Outstretched arms.
Oh.
He hauls it in. He bobbles it. The ball stays in play. Nobody's picking up the football as the ball is still in play. They're saying that he was down, though, first. And so just outside the 10-yard line, I think the Wynot coaching staff is shocked why they did not let that play stay live. I thought it looked like a fumble in real time, and it should have been.
Zoinks? Wow.
So that should have been a fumble, but there was no clear recovery.
Worst case scenario, it'd be
are they going to allow them to look at this?
It'd be an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
That's most likely would be the outcome, right? Because you can't, because you don't even know who had the ball, right? I mean, because I know Wynot went and got it. Yeah, I think that was an incomplete pass, but we talked about that earlier, right, Nick? The second down play was huge, right? You had the drop pass by Bybee, and now you went for the gusto with Barlow. A really good job there, I think, for Connor Cook that was matched up against Barlow, 2 great athletes, good on good, and he played all the way through to the end of the game. Or into the play.
So Barlow, they don't show the replay in the stadium, but I will say this. Barlow, what a catch, first off. Outstretched arms up the near sideline. And then it was a great job by the defensive back in coverage. I think that's a football move. We're able to see the replay up here in the press box. I think that's a football move where Barlow went forward.
Braylon Hines, the older brother of Kason Hines, coming. This has been the Hines special here on this drive. Defensively, really good job of playing all the way through. You talk about competing. That's a competition play right there. Finishing, coming with essentially the big swipe there to try to knock the ball loose. He did it. So it's either going to be an incomplete pass or a fumble, which would then both work in Wynot's favor. So if I'm Wynot, I want it to be a fumble. I don't want to Hedstrom to, have the chance to make a huge first down on 4th and 13.
Well, Jay, we're watching this up here in the booth right now,
Yeah,
and that's one step, two steps. He still has it and now loses the ball as he goes down. It is clearly out before his knee hits the turf. I'm more shocked, I think, than anything that the ball stayed in. They were just outside the numbers there on that near sideline at just shy of the 20-yard line.
1, 2.
I think he got about 2.5 steps. I think that's a clear catch and a fumble. Now, the ball sat literally inside the 5-yard line.
It was at the 2. See, right? That's it right there. They have it at the 2-yard line marked out. And it was a really good job there why not coaches are telling one of the players at least go make and grab the ball and obviously have possession of it. So this is a huge, call right here. I mean, now I'm watching it again. It does look like a football move, and then obviously a caused fumble there by Mr. Hines there. Really good job. Once again, I'm going to keep highlighting, Nick, the ability or, not the ability, but the competing through the whistle. That's a practice habit. That's something that the coaches and the other players have demanded of each other. Why not? And
it's spectacular that ball stayed in.
Look at it. Just checked up like one of your wedges.
So literally it started to start bouncing towards the sideline, and then because of the shape of the pigskin, obviously, it didn't take a predictable bounce. It actually went back towards the field of play, and there's a camera angle here at the stadium where there's a shot of Barlow looking back at the official saying completed catch, and behind Barlow, the ball is sitting just at the 2-yard line, maybe a foot from the sideline. I mean, that is just a spectacular camera work, I will say.
Who is he talking to?
Actually, the guy's right next door to us. Should we just knock on the glass?
Hey, what are you guys doing over there?
They have – look at that. They're talking. I can see him. One of them is the guy we've seen him, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin Ma.
Oh, it is.
Kevin, they got one of the best over here.
Oh, yeah, he's the real deal.
One. I mean, now BYU fans a couple months ago wasn't too happy with him that one time, but
BYU fans weren't happy. Neither were the Houston Cougars last year either.
That's true.
Yeah.
But no, they have one of the best up here, and a guy that's seen it college football at the high Division I level, and so they have the right bodies here.
Nick, I want to tell you this.
I saw Kevin in the hallway, and I said hello to him earlier this morning. And he's like, well, we'll see if we're going to make some big calls today. Yeah. Here's your first one, Kevin. Here's the first chance for you.
You thought you were going to have a nice little afternoon up here, get some coffee. Nick, I'm going to tell you this, though. I'm going to tell you this. You think about this is –
I'm going to interrupt you. Here's the call.
All right.
Oh, so nothing that we expected. They marked him down. They're going to say that Ben Barlow was down by contact at the 15-yard line. Kevin, should we go talk? Anyway, 36-34 is your score. The ruling is the ruling. 36-34 is your score. So what we expected to happen, we gave 3 instances. We didn't even conversate about the fact that he could be down by contact. Instead, they marked him down by contact. They must have said that the shin was down. And so with that being said, it's 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line.
Yeah, that's a huge call.
They're neglecting to show the replay in the stadium.
That's a big zone.
Here we go with Hedstrom rolling right side, and he's going to be ushered out of bounds. A loss of 4 on the play. So let's reset the stage here.
Carter Hines. How many Hines you got? You got twin brothers and an older brother?
That's right. We have Kason Hans, Braylon Hans, Carter Hans. That's small town Nebraska for you, Jay.
Yeah,
you should know about this.
I was going to say that. Where you got Coach Allen over there for St. Mary's. He looks like he just was out there, finishing throwing some hay bales there with his jacket.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. I like it. That's what I love.
Second down and 14. Here's a snap back to Hedstrom, quarterback keeper. Oh, dead leg up the middle. There goes Hedstrom inside the 5 as he turns around and he's inside the 3.
Yeah, Hedstrom right now is with momentum. Now we saw Jameis Winston against Detroit give Detroit Lions the dead leg.
Yeah.
Hedstrom right there against Hymas, a really good linebacker. This is what's called a super dead leg right there. Chuck Foreman special. Get up, stick your foot in the ground. Oh, and a little bit of a head fake right there.
Shimmy.
Yeah, a little shimmy. Now we talked about why not playing the clock. Now let's see what St. Mary's does to try to bleed the clock as well.
All right, here comes Hedstrom, quarterback keeper up the middle. He goes, touchdown, St. Mary's, as they extend their lead back to 8. before a 2-point conversion attempt with 37 seconds to go in the second quarter. It's 42-34 Cardinals.
It's a championship team and a really good quarterback taking advantage of a call that went their way and able to get a quick score before halftime. But listen, there's 37 seconds left. Do not think Brummer and Connor Cook will not score in like 4 or 5 seconds. So right now, if I'm Coach Hymas over there, I'm just going to give it to our quarterback and say, you go and tie the game.
He keeps it himself, and he's going to be run around and thrown down in the backfield. The 2-point conversion attempt is no good. And with that being said, we're going to keep it at an 8-point ball game, 42-34 with 37 seconds to play. And Jay,
Carter
with 37 seconds, Wynot will get the second half kickoff, and they get a chance to maybe add some points here in the last 37 seconds.
Yeah, well, if I'm Wynot, and that's a good job there by Coach Hymas, gathering his team around, talking to them, getting them refocused, because a lot of times when you get a call that you feel out of the 3 scenarios, 2 of them were going to go your way, and the third you really didn't think about, you got to get them refocused, right? There's a lot of football left, and obviously you want to finish out the half that you've played pretty good. Going into halftime, you got 37 seconds left, and you got 2 of the most dangerous guys on the field, on your team, in Brummer and Connor Cook. And so right now, you feel like, okay, listen, we're down by 10 or we're down by 8. That was a really good job there by Mr. Hans there, is saving a 2-point conversion there. Let's go and tie the game up before halftime and get all the momentum back before we go into halftime.
37 seconds left in the second quarter.
We're going next door, though. Yeah, I'm going over.
I'll let you have that.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Just for context, we're up in the visiting broadcast booth, and so that's where we're wedged in between where normally the home broadcast and the Big Ten officials are sitting. That's where we're at. Our press box sits at about the 35-yard line here at Memorial Stadium on the southwest side. And so here after the kickoff, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Wynot offense, just shy of the 30-yard line at the 29. 34 seconds shows on the ticker here in quarter number 2.
Yeah, and you got 1 timeout there for Wynot. And so you don't have to play in a hurry. You got to play fast, but you got to make sure that you're getting out of bounds on any receptions.
Watch for the connection with Hymas here, as that's one it's dumped off left side. Hymas tiptoes the boundary and gets about a 9-yard gain on first down.
He did get out of bounds. And so
that's right.
I think he was trying to get the first down and plenty many more. And so that was actually a good out of bounds, or a good play there by Hymas, getting out of bounds and keeping the ball or the clock from running.
Connor Cook is now by himself at the top. Here's a snap back to Brummer. Brummer looks down to the bottom. Now here, pass caught, and he's ushered out of bounds, unable to make the tackle inbounds to the catch by Braylon Hans. And Hans gets a first down as they move the chain. Still 21 seconds left on the game clock here in the second quarter. With 1 timeout are the Blue Devils.
Yeah, Brummer and company are doing a good job of systematically going down the field. 21 seconds in 8-man football is an eternity. Now they got to get more aggressive and try to take a shot down and try it down the field.
1st and 10 from the 38. Here's Brummer back to pass, looking, throwing downfield into coverage. It's picked off. Guess who? Gage Hedstrom with running room, reverses field across midfield. Now reverses direction again. Tries to stiff arm a defender just outside the 30. He loses the ball, and it's recovered by Wynot.
What's the call?
We have yet to show a call. Oh, it's going to be, is it St. Mary's ball? It is. St. Mary's ball.
Wow. But
I thought that looked like he recovered that inbounds.
I did too. The good job by Nixon Hymas playing through the whistle, trying to cause a fumble after a great interception by Hedstrom. Hustling, right? Because Hedstrom here showing his punt return and kick return ability, where Nixon hasn't ripped the ball out.
It was never a clear recovery.
Clear possession. That was the right call.
Yeah.
Wynot probably doesn't like it. You got the palms up, but actually it was actually right. So
if he would have clearly recovered it, it would have been good.
Yeah, it would have been good. Kind of his momentum was going out of bounds, and if he would have actually just kept it, it would have been the ball. 6 seconds left. You know who's coming. Is going to Barlow. You better get over there and cover him.
They are playing about 20 yards off of Barlow, and I wish I was exaggerating here. Here's the pass. They're going to chuck it deep to Barlow in double coverage. It's over the head, almost hauled in, but it falls incomplete as their defensive back in coverage, Connor Cook, was going to just try to pick it off. You just got to bat that one down. But wow, fireworks, reviews, touchdowns, fumbles, interceptions, all in the last 2 minutes of game time here at Memorial Stadium in the D2 championship game. Your score at the break, St. Mary's 42, the Wynot Blue Devils 34. We'll send it back to our 93.7 The Ticket studios to talk about it. Halftime show with Austin DP and the crew here coming up in just a few minutes. In about 15 to 20 minutes of time, Jay and I will join you once again from Memorial Stadium. We'll step aside in the D2 state championship game. It's 42-34 at the half here on 93.7 The Ticket.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Attention Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with 3 weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Halfway halfway through the day of football down at Memorial Stadium. At the half, it is St. Mary's leading Wynot 42-34 in the Class D2 state championship game. Nick Sainer and Jay Foreman with you in the broadcast booth back here at 1040 O Street. It is Austin Orman taking you through a scoreboard and a look around the happenings in sports here at the half. Again, 42-34, St. Mary's leading. Why not? Numbers for this game, total yards, pretty even, 272 to 265 in favor of St. Mary's. Only 89 combined rushing yards. A lot of the damage has been done through the air. Both teams have 3 third down conversions on over 50% rate. It's St. Mary's up by 2 in the first downs, and most importantly by 8 on the scoreboard. Heck of a start to the afternoon for quarterback Gage Hedstrom for St. Mary's. 11 of 16 through the air, 5 incompletions, also 5 touchdown passes. 254 yards on those 11 completions. He also ran the other touchdown in for St. Mary's. He's got only 9 carries for 11 yards, one of them worth a valuable 6 points. The flip side of that for Wynot, Devin Brummer also playing very well. 13 to 15 through the air for 194 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that late interception. Lane Hymas leads the way on the ground for all players in the game. 15 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown with a long of 13. 42-34, the score in this one at the half. Our previous game in Class D1, it was Sandy Creek dominating Crofton. Final score of 66-26 to take home the D1 crown. It was a 16-8 after one, and then just like that, it was 53-14 at halftime. A 37-point second quarter for Sandy Creek. Ultimately, essentially, the difference in this one. Cam Seeley had himself a day. He went 17 of 24 passing for 272 yards and 4 touchdowns. How about this on the ground? 23 rushes, 203 yards, and 5 more touchdowns. For those of you keeping track at home, that is 475 total yards and 9 touchdowns for quarterback Cam Seeley and Sandy Creek, who dominates this game in a bunch of ways. They dominate the time of possession, almost tripling up Crofton. They had the ball for 35 minutes and Crofton for 13. You look at Sandy Creek, 63 total plays against just 35 for the Crofton offense. 27 first downs compared to 9, 7 third down conversions compared to 2. Sandy Creek, your D1 state football champion. That was the game earlier this morning. Coming up tonight, though, should be a fantastic one. It's 1 versus 2 in Class B. Number 1, Waverly, and number 2, Gretna East. Waverly undefeated at 12-0. Gretna East 11-1. Its only loss coming back against Bennington in week 2. The path to get here for both schools. Waverly beat GI Northwest, Seward, and Bennington to make it here to the state final, and Gretna East has beat Standing Bear, Scott, and crosstown rival Gretna to make it to the Class B state championship game. That should be a blast of a nightcap. You'll hear it all right here, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com, starting about 7 o'clock with pregame for that one with a 7:15 kickoff. Taking a look at the scoreboard in college basketball. It is Feast Week, friends. We made it. Talked a little bit about that at the end of last week on the Corner 3, but ranked teams 96-0 this season entering the Maui Invitational. It took one game at the Lahaina Civic Center to move that record to 96-1. Seton Hall and head coach Shaheen Holloway take down number 23 North Carolina State and Will Wade. Final score of 85-74. This was a game the Pirates led by as much as 18 at one point. Seton Hall records 11 steals and 40 points in the paint. They also win the rebounding battle 37-30. In the Players Era Festival, a couple results already. Tennessee dominates Rutgers 85-60, 32 points from Maryland transfer Jacoby Gillespie, and 20 from freshman standout Nate Ament. Essentially help Tennessee play Rutgers even just between the two of them. It was a 26-point lead at the break. Rutgers cut into it by just 1 point through the final 20 minutes. The next game in the Players Era Festival that went final was Baylor over Creighton. Final score 81-74. Cameron Carr leads Baylor with 21 points and 9 rebounds. Baylor's only played 4 times this year. Cameron Carr scored 21 points in 3 of those 4 games. It was UMass over Oregon State 73-65 in the 7th placed game at Paradise Jam, that tournament taking place in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Down in Kissimmee, Florida, the Orlando area Disney campus, Liberty holds off Vermont. Final score 79-59. 73. Taking a look through some other games that have gone final is Jacksonville over Bethune-Cookman by 5. Buffalo comes from behind to beat VMI 78-70. Green Bay, Doug Gottlieb takes down Iona 80-75. Also in Paradise Jam, you have Cal Riverside taking down Grambling 83-74, and Toledo over Troy 75-68. Towson Beach, Rhode Island 62-55. It was Pacific over Stony Brook 86-58. Bowling Green back on the board with a win over Bucknell 71-66. East Texas A&M takes down Tobin Anderson U and Fairleigh Dickinson 70-65. Belmont dominates St. Francis 94-57 in Coconut Hoops. And UAB beats Southern Illinois, final score of 81-73. Games in progress right now. We'll run you down the scoreboard. Kansas has kept Notre Dame at arm's length pretty much all day. It's 67-59 Jayhawks right now in that one. Jayhawks out of the rankings in November for the first time in a long time. I believe the last time Kansas was out of the rankings at this point was the year they lost to Bucknell in the first round of the tournament, but they're winning 67-59, now under 2 minutes to go. William and Mary leads UTEP by 2, 49-47. It's Oakland over Lamar, 46-43. Nearing halftime, St. John's has come back to lead Iowa State 43-41. That is a top 15 battle going on as well in that Players Era Festival. At the half, it's Rice up 1 on Kennesaw State. And UC San Diego, remember the Tritons, they lead Temple 47-36. In the Maui Invitational, next game is USC and Boise State. Trojans are leading that one 19-12, about halfway home in the first half. And it's George Washington leading Middle Tennessee 25-19. Other games of note coming up, Players Era Festival. You see Syracuse and Houston. That game should tip off right about 5 o'clock. You also will end up with a bunch of other good games in that tournament. Scrolling through, trying to find the rest of the bracket here. But either way, just an absolutely loaded tournament. Other games of note there would be Oregon and Auburn. That one will be at 7 o'clock tonight. In Paradise Jam, 2 of the better mid-majors in the country. It'll be Yale and Akron from St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. If you're a sicko like me, you might just tune into that one to have some fun. You also get Florida Atlantic and Loyola Marymount. Those teams, they combined 10-1. That'll be on CBS Sports Network later tonight. Also in the Players Era Festival, the nightcap ought to be a good one. You'll have Alabama and Gonzaga going up against Michigan and San Diego State. Those games will tip off in about an hour. And the late one in Maui will be Texas and Arizona State. Scrolling through some other news here. If you look at the Major League Volleyball draft, Wisconsin outside hitter Mimi Collier goes number 1 overall to the Dallas Pulse. Creighton outside hitter Ava Martin goes number 2 to the Atlanta Vibe. And former Husker and soon-to-be former Tennessee Volunteer Hayden Kubik goes number 3 overall. She gets selected by the San Diego Mojo. 2 Huskers get selected in the 4th round. Taylor Landfair goes 28th overall. She will be heading to the Indy Ignite. 1 pick later, Allie Check gets selected. She goes 29th overall, and she'll be staying here in the 402. The Omaha Supernovas select Allie Check 29th overall. In Nebraska athletics news, Braden Frager gets named Big Ten Freshman of the Week. He averaged 18 points and 17 rebounds in Nebraska's 2 games at the Hall of Fame Classic in Kansas City. Of course, both wins over New Mexico and Kansas State. Frager named MVP of that event as well. It's his first Freshman of the Week honor and Nebraska's first Big Ten Freshman of the Week award since Jamarcus Lawrence earned it back in March of 2023. Also in Big Ten Freshman of the Week news, we go to volleyball. Virginia Adriano earns her second Big Ten Freshman of the Week nomination. She records 18 kills, 9 blocks, and 4 aces across Nebraska volleyball's wins over Iowa and number 17 Indiana over the last week. Once again, at the half, it's St. Mary's leading Wynot 42-34. You have St. Mary's being led by Gage Hedstrom. He's 11 of 16 through the air, 254 yards and 5 touchdown passes. He also has the other touchdown for St. Mary's on the ground, 9 carries for 11 yards. His counterpart at quarterback on the other side, Devin Brummer, doing a lot as well. 13 of 15 passing, 194 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a late interception. Lane Hymas and Nixon Hymas have combined for 17 rushes for 67 yards, and Lane Hymas has a touchdown for Wynot, the Blue Devils, as well. We're about 5 minutes away from getting you back out to Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman. We'll go ahead and step aside. You'll hear from Nick and Jay. They'll give you their halftime thoughts, get you set up for the second half of the Class D2 state championship game. It's St. Mary's, the 4 seed in Class D2, leading 6 seed Wynot 42-34. Don't go anywhere. More high school football next on 93.7 The Ticket.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are getting ready to start half number 2, quarter number 3 of the D2 state championship game here from Memorial Stadium on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman alongside. All right, Jay, let's not bury the lead here. St. Mary's leads at 42-34 and on the shoulders of Gage Hedstrom.
Yeah, Gage Hedstrom has been more than advertised. He's been excellent. And his partner's crime and Barlow has been just as good. So Hedstrom is the guy that stirs the pot. They were, originally when they started off the game with a squib kick and obviously got a turnover, and when I'm referencing why not, you like wondering why they wouldn't kick it to him. Well, every single time he's touched the ball in whether it's the interception or got the return or something like that, he's been nothing less than spectacular. Then offensively as a quarterback, he's been great as well. And the thing is, even better, he's an all-around player. He covers kicks on special teams and made a couple tackles there. And then he makes timely tackles on defense as a physical player on defense. And he had the crucial fumble recovery when Hymas fumbled it, deep in their territory. So he's all that's advertised. We saw him at the state tournament as far as basketball, and there's nothing less than what he's able to do on the basketball court. He's doing it here on the football field. And so for him, and St. Mary's have been undefeated, and obviously they've had a spectacular offense all year as far as being able to run it with him. Obviously he's almost has 1,800 yards rushing and almost 2,000 yards passing, which he's obviously surpassed here in this game, and a plethora of TDs. But, his Barlow with almost 1,000 yards catching and 20 TDs, and then Bybee with another 500 and 8 TDs. This offense for 8-man football is not only efficient, but it's very, very consistent. And they was on display with 42 points in the first half.
So obviously late in that second quarter there, we had a controversial call that went in favor of St. Mary's. I know there's videos and there's highlights of it surfacing across social media as well, but just to kind of recap, because there was a lot of the talk in the hallway here on the 6th floor of the west side of Memorial Stadium was that conversation. And basically what we got told, Jay, and what we've heard basically through the grapevine is that they called it down. The call on the field after it was reviewed was that it was a catch and that Ben Barlow for St. Mary's was down by contact. However, it was a catch. He was not down. And the ball, essentially what we got told, or in a roundabout way, what it was inferred is that essentially nobody recovered the ball fast enough to argue a clear recovery. Plus, the officials on the field blew it dead already.
Yeah.
And so because of that, they couldn't necessarily justify giving possession to Wynot. They also knew that, hey, he for sure 100% caught the ball, made football moves, and ultimately just it was a freak play that we probably will never see something of that in this magnitude again.
Man, it was a great play there, though.
It's extremely tough if you're Wynot, because you should have gotten the ball. If they had a player that comes over immediately and picks it up, then it's Wynot's ball. But they didn't.
Yeah, Braylon Hans did a really good job of playing all the way through the echo of the whistle. Barlow had a great catch, made a football play, but even better play there by Braylon Hans and caused the fumble. A little bit of, I think, awkwardness because the play was blown dead so early, so quickly. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that worked against Wynot. Wynot coaches, and Coach Hines was one of the first ones running down the sideline to get one of his players to just pick up the ball so they would have possession of the football if it was ever overturned. And unfortunately, it wasn't done in a timely enough fashion. So it was a huge play because then obviously a couple plays later, Hedstrom and St. Mary's were able to punch that in for a touchdown. And so that was a game swinging play, a momentum play where they were able to take it, the length of the field and circumstances worked out in their favor for them to get an 8-point lead going into halftime.
42-34 is your score as we start quarter number 3. 8-point advantage for St. Mary's over Wynot. However, Wynot does get the ball to start quarter number 3. And so they have a chance to make this one tied up if they can get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion here in the early stages of the third quarter. We're ready to go. Wynot will trend towards the north end zone here at Memorial Stadium as this kick sails towards the south side of the field. It's fielded on the fly at the 7-yard line by Lane Hymas, Cotner Cook, and he takes it across the 10-yard line, across the 15, and down at the 16.
Good open field tackle there and coverage there by St. Mary's, but it was led by Lane Bybee, running down there and making a tackle against Cook, because once if Cook would have got past him, we'd have been having a different story where Cook would have been striking up the band. So now here we go. We got Brummer and Cook right here to get back going. You talked about Hedstrom, or we talked about Hedstrom. His stat line. Brummer's not too bad as well. Neither is Cook. They're not playing second fiddle to anybody. Wynot is on the move.
Here's a toss left side. A great job closing and sealing the edge by the St. Mary's defender. And we have a late penalty flag that flies in from the near sideline here as Lane Hymas takes the option pitch left side. Doesn't get very far. Actually did lose 2 yards on that play. And we have a penalty flag. I would imagine that this might go against St. Mary's. Eli Banks was one of the guys in on the stop.
Really good job there by 18 Ben Pongratz of just staying at home and corralling Hymas there. And unfortunately, what we talked about earlier for Wynot, inadvertent face mask that led to 15 yards. Now St. Mary's returned the favor on it was a 5-yard face mask penalty. So Wynot 1st and 5, coming out after the second half. They're on the move, and so they're trying to even this score up. But St. Mary's is not giving them an inch.
So here comes Wynot. 1st down and about 8. And now we're going to have another penalty charged against St. Mary's as Lane Bybee on the left side of that defensive line going up against the right tackle of the Wynot offensive line. Jumped a little too soon, and it's going to be offsides charged to St. Mary's, and that'll move it 5 more yards. And so instead of 1st and 8, because it was a 5-yard face mask penalty from the spot of the foul, now add on an additional 5 yards, and it's 1st and 2.
Yeah, now you have Devin Brummer and company way ahead of the chains on 1st down and trying to take advantage of a couple of mishaps by St. Mary's.
Here's Lane Hymas. He goes right into a swarm of red jerseys that is anchored by Lane Bybee there. No gain on the play, so maybe they'll give him a half a yard, and so it's going to be 2nd down and short.
Good job there by Dalton Hurley and Lane Bybee shutting down that Hymas, we used to call it, fullback plunge, 11-12 plunge. Really good job of clogging up the middle, making a good play, forcing Wynot to earn it. And that's one thing St. Mary's, I think, has done from the middle of the second quarter on, is forcing Wynot to earn every point, every yard they were able to get. 2nd
down and 1, back to pass Brummer. Pump fakes, now steps up. He's going to take off and run. Has the 1st down and more as he gets tripped up just shy of the 35-yard line. And Brummer, they're going to mark him past the 35 at the 36.
Okay, Brummer here with the rating of 248 said, listen, I'm not backing down to Hedstrom, and not only can I match him as far as pass for pass and touchdown for touchdown, I can run it a little bit. Good job there by Brummer, making an off-schedule 1st down and keeping Wynot on the move and eating up a little bit more clock right now. Normally in the first half, both teams have been looking to score a minute and a half into each quarter, so they're trying to eat up some clock on this drive.
Here we go as 1st down and 10 from the 36. Quick pass out left side, caught by Cook as he gets across midfield and then shoved out of bounds by the duo of Barlow and number 21 for the St. Mary's Cardinals, Drake Berg. We had a sequence there in that first half where we were calling Drake Berg's name nonstop. I mean, we're talking consecutive after consecutive plays. But here, that's the first time in at least a quarter we've said Drake Berg's name.
Yeah, Drake Berg coming right back in the third quarter, starting off where he finished the first half, and obviously wanted to get back into the defensive stat line. He's a pretty good player playing the second level of this 8-man football defense here.
Here's a handoff to Lane Hymas. And once again, as you said, Jay, Drake Berg on the tackle, along with Lane Bybee. Across midfield, they are the Wynot offense, and it's going to be 3rd down and 3 coming up from the 37-yard line.
Nick, I think Steve Hymas in this Wynot offense changed it up a little bit. I think primarily in the first half, 1st, 2nd down, it was a lot of Lane Hymas run. Right now, you went to the short passing game to Cook, and then you went back to Hymas. Now you're 3rd and manageable, thinking that it's 4-down territory, being down 8 points.
3rd down and 3 from the 37-yard line. Back to pass Brummer. He'll throw it right side. Pass is hauled in right at the sticks. And trying on a second effort, he reestablished himself, did Cotton or Cook. He is right at that 1st down line to gain. We will see what Rick Eisenhower says. It is a 1st down for the Wynot offense.
Yeah, Wynot is just methodically trying to march this ball down the field, taking their time. They're a way different pace than St. Mary's as far as in and out of the huddle and the aggressiveness in their passing game. Very controlled passing game, very detailed, trying to eat up some of the clock and make their receivers break tackles after the catch.
So it is now 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. Here's the snap. Brummer keeps it, cuts back upfield. Great shoestring tackle made on the play by number 36 for St. Mary's, Eli Banks. Also in on the stop was number 34, Dalton Hurley.
Yeah.
Both of those guys juniors on that defensive front for St. Mary's.
This defensive line at St. Mary's is pretty good. You got Bybee, you got Hurley, and then obviously you got Banks. And Banks has been active just like Berg. And it's been pretty much Banks and Bergs and Hedstrom in that first half and leading into the second half. They're very active front three there and also in the second level.
Cotner Cook is by himself at the top. Lane Hymas to the right hip of Brummer, the quarterback. Brummer takes the snap, looking Cook's way. Now rushes left side. He gets pressured, throw across his body. It's hauled in by, once again, guess who? Cotner Cook on that near sideline. It's going to be enough for a first down all the way up at the 15-yard line, and Wynot moving the ball strategically and smoothly here on the opening drive of the second half.
Yeah, Wynot is really, really settling down the pace. I think, Coach Hymas did a really good job of really evaluating the pace. Got a little bit maybe too sped up for them in the first half. Played the St. Mary's wheelhouse, got it back in their own wheelhouse, and they're on the attack here, trying to get another 7 points.
Shotgun formation. They turn, fake the handoff. Now a reverse pass over there to Lane Hymas. Has some running room. That's going to be a hold. It's a touchdown as it stands. But as I was peeking through my binoculars here, Jay Foreman, you could clearly see a hold on the edge there. Charge to the perimeter blocker for Wynot. The official was all over that one. It's a touchdown as it stands, but this penalty is going to move it back.
Yeah, they like that flare pass to Hymas, a little bit of reverse action. Throwing it back to Hymas. Looked like the Cleveland Browns yesterday with that screen pass. And Lane got caught trying to block Barlow. And I don't necessarily know by, technicality was it a holding? It looked like a holding. If you watch it right here, Barlow kind of made that last gasp effort to it. He actually was grabbing Lane and pushing him down or pulling him down to make it look like Lane blocked him, and Lane didn't have any have any hands on him. So good savvy play there by the veteran Barlow to draw that holding penalty there to keep Wynot out of the end zone.
So now it's ball at the 22-yard line, empty shotgun formation. Quick pass out far side. It's through the hands of number 32 in white for Wynot. That is Jed Nelson. The first time we've called Nelson's name here today. It is 2nd down and 17 after that incomplete pass on first down.
Yeah, a little bit of a mishap there. Like you said, Jed Nelson hadn't been in the game all game. He came in, tried to give Hymas a little bit of breather. I think he's coming out now. He primarily is a defensive end pass rusher. A little bit of mishap there as far as the timing of the pass and the pass pattern threw off Wynot there. So if I'm St. Mary's, I like it that we got, aided by a holding penalty, and we got a little bit of momentum back on our side, but they got to get a stop here.
This will be the 11th play of the drive here, and it's a flare pass out left side into the flat lane. Hymas, a lot of running room into the end zone. He goes on the near side. Touchdown. Wynot on the 11th play of the drive. He scores on 2nd down and long with 8:21 to go in the third quarter, and Wynot is within 2.
Yeah, really good job there by number 99, Parker Schmidt, getting out there in space and being the lead blocker and then allowing Hymas to beat the would-be tackler one-on-one. You see this kind of flare pass, screen pass, and it also reminds you back when Scott Frost was here trying to throw it to Maurice Washington, people getting mad. But when you break one, because you really think that my player is better than your player in space, and you depend on Hymas. Good job there. Good play call as well, and excellent execution.
All right, so 2-point conversion attempt. It's a halfback pass into the end zone. It's good. The assist from Brummer to Hymas, the hockey assist to Brummer, I should say, and then to Hans on the receiving end of that 2-point conversion pass. So we are all tied up at 42 apiece with 8:21 to go in the third quarter. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here in the Class D2 state championship game on 93.7 The Ticket.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A 22-yard touchdown pass from Devin Brummer to Lane Hymas caps off an 11-play, 64-yard drive that consumed 3 minutes and 35 seconds of game time, which is one of the longer drives of the game so far. How about this?
I don't
Jay,
mean to cut you off.
you're
That's
fine.
normally what people assumed an 8-man football drive would
Yeah.
be. Heavy
Yeah,
run,
yeah.
short passing game, clock keep running. Really good job to do it because that's hard to do when you're playing a team like St. Mary's.
What if I told you, and I mean, obviously, this isn't going to be hard to believe, the longest drive of the game so far was the second drive for the Wynot Blue Devils back in the first quarter, 4 minutes and 11 seconds. That's been the longest drive, and we are having a total of 84 points so far. I mean, this is incredible. You look at that St. Mary's drive chart here, it's a minute 20. These are the drives that have resulted in a touchdown. 1 minute and 20 seconds, 1 minute and 4 seconds, 2:41, 7 seconds, 47 seconds, 60 seconds. I mean, it has been a fast-paced but yet slower moving game. I mean, we kicked things off at 2:45. We're 2 hours and 4 minutes into this one, still with over half of the third quarter still to be played.
Yeah, when you think about it, also another funny stat is Wynot obviously leads in the total yards, but they have doubled St. Mary's in as far as the time of possessions.
Yeah.
And you know what we talk about some teams, and obviously Nebraska at times, you know, red zone troubles. Both teams 5 or 5 for Wynot red zone. St. Mary's 2 for 2. These guys are humming on offense, and they're very, very efficient. It's a very well coached game, physical game. And it's going to come down to the wire. Look, it's 42-42. Both these teams are expecting to win this game. You got a little bit over a quarter and a half, you know, for a state champion to be crowned. And this has been an excellent game, very exciting game. And you're kind of always waiting for the next big play, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we seen it? And obviously we're going to be able to get, Waverly and Gretna East, right? And then obviously, you know, Millard South and Papillion, La Vista South tomorrow night. And obviously with Millard South, Millard South with all their players.
Yeah.
But now when you look at when you have Hedstrom and Barlow, right? And then you got Brummer and Cook. What two better combinations can we see?
Yeah.
You know, we might have had, who was it last year at Scott with the two brothers?
Oh, it would have been Dylan Van Dyke and Joe Kliga.
Joe Kliga. And then you had his brother at the tight end. These are some
Luke
special
Van
players.
Dyke.
Yeah, some special players
That's right.
that make it to Memorial Stadium and then are blessed to play on Tom Osborne Field. It's probably a great honor for them, but it's even better to watch these guys go out living their dreams.
So it was a kickoff out of bounds by Wynot, 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line, and Hedstrom took it forward for just a yard. So nothing crucial that was missed here over the last 60 seconds or so. It's going to be 2nd down and 9, shotgun formation for Gage Hedstrom. They have not run it a whole lot here today. They take the snap, and we have a whistle and a penalty flag thrown on the left side of that offensive line here.
Yeah, that was
going to be a penalty.
Yeah, that was in neutral zone. But, you know, the one thing, well, it's probably different in high school is in the college and the NFL, you have to make contact. They give you a little bit of time to go back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're so far into the neutral zone that they throw it. Now you got Wynot. You know, we saw St. Mary's would getting in a little bit of, you know, trouble with shooting themselves in the foot with, you know, penalties, self-inflicted wounds. Wynot can't do that as well with a lot of time left. And then obviously with his high-powered offense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Wynot, you're sitting there going, all right, how can we continue to control the clock? Because St. Mary's has shown today the ability to score in the blink of an eye. Here's Hedstrom, steps up. He's rolling to his left side. He escapes one would-be tackler. Can't get away from the second guy, though. Still is able to lunge forward for a gain of 2. And he was finally taken down on the play there by number 32, Jed Nelson. And so Nelson making a play defensively after just hauling in his first catch a few moments ago.
Yeah, Jed Nelson did a good job of staying at home and setting the edge, but an even better job there by Carter Hans providing the pressure. I think the Hans, Case and Hans provided pressure as far as in the late in the second quarter. And then obviously Braylon Hans has been a really good player as far as playing defensive back. And then Carter Hans, excellent job there closing down on Hedstrom because he's a hard guy to tackle in open field.
3rd down and 3, Hedstrom, quarterback keeper. He's going to go forward, has the first down across the 35 and across even the 30 for good measure. Up to the 29-yard line goes Gage Hedstrom. Let's just go ahead and revisit Gage Hedstrom's stat line real quick. Through the air, 11 of 16, 254 passing yards, 5 touchdowns and 0 picks. He also has a rushing touchdown on the day. We've seen some really good quarterback performances here today. Even Healy of Sandy Creek earlier was spectacular. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Here comes Hedstrom, throws it far side, and it's hauled in by Ben Barlow for a gain of 5 up to the, 25-yard line.
You know, Nick, one thing I will say, though, obviously with Hedstrom coming in with almost 1,800 yards rushing, right, and 35 TDs, via the ground, Wynot has done an excellent job against him in the run game, but that also lets you know how great St. Mary's offense is, where they're able to score quickly with their skills position guys. 2
wideouts far side, 1 running back to the right hip of Hedstrom. Hedstrom back to pass, pump fakes, looking, throws it across his body, and in coverage was Highness, and there is no penalty marker on the play. The intended receiver was Lane Bybee up on the right hash mark coming towards that south end zone. It falls incomplete to bring up 3rd down and 5.
Good job there by Nixon Hymas, the younger brother of Lane, of trailing Bybee on a deep over route while Hedstrom was trying to stay away from the older brother, Lane Hymas. Really good job there. And I think also Wynot has changed their kind of defensive philosophy. Hymas in the first half just was in a true spy. Now I think after the ball snap, he's starting to creep up to the line of scrimmage, trying to get his hands up to get a batted ball, so look out for that later in the game.
There's only 1 down lineman defensively. Here's Hedstrom on the quarterback keeper, trying to weave his way through traffic. He does not have the 1st down, but that decision to go with the quarterback keeper on 3rd and 5, Jay, probably tells you what, that you're going to go for it on 4th.
Yeah, and you know that you have Carter Haynes down there probably just mad at himself. They had a 3-man defensive line stunt where he looped in and had Hedstrom dead to rights, dead leg, slipped through there, 4th and short. Wynot is thinking if we can stop them here, we have control of this game.
5:45 to go in the 3rd quarter in the D2 state championship game. 4th and 2. Gage Hedstrom in shotgun. Back. He's going to run it. He needs 2. He gets more inside the 10. Gage Hedstrom 1st down for the St. Mary's offense as the Wynot defense unable to stop the St. Mary's quarterback yet again.
Yeah, short yardage plays sometimes spring for some of the explosive run plays, and they had him dead to rights. Peyton Pick was right there and got knocked off by a blocker, allowed Hedstrom, you see that right there, allowed Hedstrom to crease there, to get through that crease to get a 15-yard gain.
1st and 10 from the 15, 1st and goal from the 10-yard line, and it's going to be even closer now because the Wynot defensive line trying to get a head start, and it's going to be an offsides against the Blue Devils defense. And so move that ball 5 yards closer. It'll be now 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. I will say this, Jay, in this first possession for St. Mary's offensively, we're seeing them operate differently. More ground attack, more Gage Hedstrom run focus rather than just lining up and taking a shot downfield. 1st and goal from the 5. It's a backup into the game, Hedstrom takes the snap. He's over the goal line, touchdown. St. Mary's yet again for the 2nd time tonight. Hedstrom scores on the ground. It's his 7th touchdown scored of the day, and St. Mary's takes a 48-42 lead.
Yeah, Wynot has got to regroup a little bit. They got a little bit of different body language. You know, the game being tied up until this last play, you got to think that, they were right into it. And, they're thinking they missed a hold on Parker Schmidt. More importantly, you got to look at there's a lot of time left in the game. Hedstrom started to go get busy on you, so you got to make some adjustments because he's starting to heat up on the running game.
So here's Hedstrom. He flings the pass forward up the left side. It's deflected, incomplete as it hits the turf, and it is incomplete. Unsuccessful 2-point conversion attempt. And so with 4:57 to go in the 3rd quarter, 48-42 is your score. And that is how we stand here with less than 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. We will step aside yet again and take a quick break. When we come back, Wynot turns it over and they get it on offense here in just a moment on 93.7 The Ticket.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I tell you what, Gage Hedstrom continuing his day, the all-time leader in touchdowns at the Class D2 level, and he's looking every part of it here. Once again, 7 total touchdowns so far for Gage Hedstrom on the day, and St. Mary's leads at 48-42 as this kickoff is a line drive kick fielded on the ground at the 8-yard line with a little bit of space up across the 25-yard line, tackled down at the 29, and that is where Wynot sets up shop. Gage Hedstrom offers from places in the likes of Mount Marty University, Hastings College. We're looking at Wayne State as well, Midland. That University of Sioux Falls is interested. And that feels like a pretty good level for Gage Hedstrom.
Yeah, where he can step in, and he's a football player, right? He can play, obviously, quarterback. He can play defensive back, and obviously it would take him a little while to get into linebacker. But you're getting an excellent football player with great leadership skills as well.
And in the backfield, quickly, the St. Mary's edge rushers get to the quarterback quickly as Devin Brummer goes down. Lane Bybee was the first one in there on the stop. He was also helped out by Eli Banks.
Yeah.
And both of those guys take Brummer down for a loss of 5.
Yeah, Wynot was trying to set up a middle screen there, and they were trying to suck the defensive line in there, but not that quick that Brummer couldn't make a decision there. So good job there by Brummer eating the sack. Excellent job there by Bybee and Banks there corralling that quarterback.
2 wideouts far side, 1 to the near side. Left hip is Lane Hymas. Back to pass is Brummer. He evades pressure, rolls out to his left. A penalty marker's on the play as Brummer takes off, and on the scramble, Brummer gets across the 35-yard line, and he's tackled about the 37. However, a piece of yellow laundry is sitting back at the 17-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like a holding call against Wynot, so Wynot has to get back on schedule. Sometimes, Nick, when you have a big play before half that takes a lot of energy out of you, then you're able to score. You're like, okay, we made it. Well, St. Mary's said we got a whole half of football to play. Now you see Wynot way behind the chains, because if that was not a penalty, I think Brummer was at or close to first down, and that would have been a big momentum shift. So now it's 2nd and 25. With the pass rush of St. Mary's starting to heat up. So let's see if Cook starts to get going, or who else they can try to feature here to keep this pass rush at bay.
Yeah, without the penalty, it would have been 3rd down and 2, but instead it's 2nd and 25. They got to get to their own 39-yard line. Here on 2nd down and a mile. Here's a quick pass out to Cotner Cook. He gets across the 20-yard line, spun around by Gage Hedstrom, and thrown out of bounds at the 22, maybe the 23-yard line if he can get lucky. And it's going to be, as I choked on my own words there, it's going to bring up 3rd down and 16 from the 23-yard line.
Nick, when you look at both of these teams, and this is, obviously they're Class D2, so you're not going to have 100 kids on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. It's really commendable for all these players to play both ways and play as hard as they've played all night. It's sticking out now. It's going to come down to a battle of wills and whoever wants it more.
3rd down and 16 from the 23-yard line. Shotgun snap. Brummer back to pass, looking downfield. Has his main man, Cotner Cook, and he's still running after a broken tackle inside the 5. Touchdown, why not? When things were looking bleak, Cotner Cook answers the call off the pass from Devin Brummer, and we're all tied up at 48.
There goes that man. Cotner Cook said the best thing that he did right there, listen, you're going across the middle, you're afraid to get hit, watch this. Catches it with his hand, snags it, breaks the tackle, strike up the band. Cook gets Wynot in the position not only to tie the game, to get the lead back just like that. What do you think, Nick? What I always say, Nick, when you get into pressure times, we've seen it from St. Mary's. It's Hedstrom. You think players, not plays. Really good job there by Wynot in that offense.
Well, Cotner Cook just made a play, and as Devin Brummer once again And now with the game tied at 48, Brummer is on to attempt just the point after. Just kidding. It's a direct snap. Lane Hymas, as they set up the point after, he takes the direct snap, and it is good as he runs it in. The 2-point conversion attempt is good. It's 50-48 with 3:35 to play in the third.
Well, Nick, let's look at this now. I mean, you remember Travis Kelce when they went to Baltimore a few years ago? 11 targets, 11 catches. Cotner Cook, 11 catches, or 11 targets, 11 catches, 196 yards, 2 TDs. He's averaging 18 yards a catch. And his buddy, Devin Brummer, said, listen, I'm 20 or 23 for 312, 5 TDs, only 1 pick, 263. He's trying to catch Gage Hedstrom, who is 12 of 18, 260 yards. This is excellent football here tonight. It's an exciting game.
There we go. It is what a game. We still have a full quarter left to play, Jay Foreman. It's 50-48.
Yeah, and you know what it is, Nick, is, you know, when you talk about a battle of wills, it's like, who's going to continue to make the huge plays, right? Because you know you got to continue. Right now, 11 catches, 196 in the state playoffs or state championship game. You're like, all right, I'm done, right? That's a whole 4 quarters. You got a full quarter left of football and some change. You're going to mess around and try to get up to close to 300 yards receiving here by either receiver, whether it's Barlow or Cotner Cook.
Wynot has only given up more points than what they've allowed today just once, and that was against a class of D1 state championship participant, Crofton. They beat Crofton, though, 78-76. But since that point, the most points that they had given up in a single game was against Central Valley. They gave up 28 points. We passed 28 points an hour and a half ago.
28 points was a warm-up. We were 42-42 or like 42-34 at halftime. These two teams packed their offenses. And you know, to be honest with you, it's not that either team and defense has been playing bad. I think the offense has just been that much better. And, you know, we came in and obviously we'd seen Hedstrom and Barlow obviously on the basketball court, so we kind of knew what to expect. But, man, Devin Brummer and Cotner Cook has been more, you know, just as good and in a lot of ways maybe a step ahead of them. And let's not forget, you got Braylon Hans over there who has 70 yards and Lane Hymas that had a huge screen pass for touchdowns to tie the game up. And now they have a 2-point lead. So this is a back-and-forth game.
Yeah.
With a quarter left, I could see this easily in the 70s. Right?
We'll see what happens. It's 50-48. Here we go. As 3:35 is what remains in the third quarter, fielded by the Upback on the kickoff. And this one's actually going to get taken across midfield.
Yeah, so that worked out for St. Mary's. And obviously you make them kick it again to try to get it to Hedstrom. But you got it to Bybee, who you trust just as much as anybody on your team, and you get it at midfield. So now with this explosive offense, who really St. Mary's is like, we're not ever going to take a lot of time off the clock to try to score. They only have 40 yards left to pay dirt. So let's see if they capitalize on the squib kick there by Wynot.
So 3 minutes, 31 seconds remain here in the third quarter. It's 50-48. Wynot in front of St. Mary's. As St. Mary's has the football, they hand it off here on first down and getting driven back after a 2-yard gain as the ball carrier, as that was number 10 for the St. Mary's Cardinals offense, Keegan Couch, the sophomore, gets 2 yards on the play to bring up 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, you know, Parker Schmidt actually made that play. He kind of stopped the initial progress of the runner, allowed the Wynot defenders to corral that ball carrier. So a really good job there by Wynot's defense. You know, really, besides a couple drives, I felt like they did a really good job against Hedstrom in the run game. A little bit of leaky oil there the last series, and obviously the first series of the second half. But overall, this Wynot defense might have got recharged by that last drive by the offense.
Here's the snap back. Hedstrom looking, throwing downfield. He's got his guy Barlow, and he's unable to haul it in as the official is reaching deep for his penalty marker, and he chucks it at the 6.
I think he was going to throw it anyway. It was a little delayed.
Tucked in. It was tucked in a little bit too much.
Yeah, but
he tucked it in too tight.
Braylon Hans was one-on-one against Barlow on a deep post route. A really good pass there by Hedstrom, and Barlow was just trying to play through the ball and actually was underthrown. And so Barlow was coming back for the ball or to catch it, and then obviously it caused the pass interference. And that's good on good. As a coach, sometimes you want to see your players compete, Hans was it was probably beat by a step or two, maybe initially, but he was able to make it up by the underthrown ball. Now, one thing I'm going to say there, Nick, we saw it at the end of the first half with Cotner Cook potentially almost tipping the interception into Barlow. It's starting to become a little bit darker. We always talk about the ability to track the ball at night under the lights.
We are on official record watch in a game like today. Gage Hedstrom total touchdowns. The record is 8. He currently has 7 total touchdowns on the day. Here he has it on a quarterback keeper right side, and it's going to be a gain of about 3 up to the 22-yard line or so. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, good job there. But obviously, Hedstrom is probably well in, has his crosshairs on breaking that record. But good job there by Carter Hans there from his defensive end position to corral him. I think he's done a really good job, really trying to stop Hedstrom from delaying the pass rush and hitting big plays, but then also a secondary rusher and getting some sacks.
Here's Hedstrom, back to pass, looking, surveying, still dancing, now rolls to the right side, throws off his 1 foot, and it's just out of reach for number 12, Memphis Brabeck, that is number 21, Drake Berg, who was the intended receiver. I had the numbers flip-flopped, and with 1:52 to go in the third quarter, it's 3rd down and 8, 50-48 is your score. Wynot with a 2-point lead, and St. Mary's facing a 3rd and long.
Yeah, good job there by Cotner Cook of chasing Berg all the way across the field and then making a play on the ball and avoiding a pass interference call, setting up this defense. 3rd and more manageable for the defense to try to get off the field or force a turnover on downs. And let's see what St. Mary's does here on the attack.
3rd down and 8, back to pass. Hedstrom looking end zone for his man, and it's unable to be hauled in. Ben Barlow, it was a good ball by Hedstrom. Back shoulder fade to the end zone in a spot where only Barlow was going to be able to haul it in. That was a really nice throw. He got separation. It touched both the hands and even the forearms, and it just went through the breadbasket.
Yeah, that lets you know they're going to go for it on 4th down, most likely. You take an aggressive approach to it on 3rd down, see if you can get the touchdown. That was good on good. That's Hans over there, Braylon Hans against Barlow. And Hans was able to come out on the upper hand on that down, on that possession.
So here we go, 4th down and 8, back to pass Hedstrom to keep the drive alive as St. Mary's trails by 2. Hedstrom looking, he's got his man out in the flat. He evades 1 sack, still dancing. He's all the way back at midfield. The pass is deflected. It's intercepted. Going the other way. Here goes Wynot in traffic, and on the near side, it's Cotner Cook. Finally taken down inside the 20-yard line, and Wynot gets a big turnover going the other way, and they will set up 1st and 10 at the St. Mary's 15-yard line.
Yeah, Cotner Cook did a really good job of not coming up out of coverage, and then when Hedstrom just threw it up for grabs, he made an excellent play on the ball, caught it on the run. It's almost like a center fielder catching it and trying to throw somebody out at home. The momentum is going right towards the ball. He caught it on the run, almost like a punt return. Make one would-be tackler miss and almost had a punt or interception for 6 points. And so, sometimes I think these guys play so hard. Normally in a regular game, you probably take it, to the house. But that was a big turnover there, and he was able to flip the field down to their territory.
A massive opportunity here for Wynot to extend their lead to 2 possessions. But before we have a snap on 1st down, we have a St. Mary's Cardinal time out. 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line of St. Mary's. So just to let you know on a couple of the records that are in play, total points scored for a D2 game is 100 between 2 teams in a championship game.
Well, that's about to be broken.
It's about to be broken. So we're going to have that record collectively between the 2 sides. However, you look at a couple of the quarterbacks more specifically, both Brummer and Hedstrom have 5 touchdown passes. I'm looking at it now. Most touchdown passes thrown in a D2 playoff game came back in 2012. Jake Finley of Giltner against Hay Springs threw 7. And so 3 more touchdown passes for either one of these quarterbacks is certainly in the conversation, and they would be able to hold a new record.
Yeah, Giltner against Hay Springs. Do you know who we know from Hay Springs?
I do not.
Yeah, Mr. Peters. Yeah, he's obviously.
Was he on that team?
No, not 2012.
Are you saying he's too old?
No, I'm saying his high school don't play any defense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. It is 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. Here is Brummer. He tosses it right side lane. Hymas gets swallowed up in the backfield. A loss of 2 on the play, and that's going to make it 2nd down and 12 with about 1:15 remaining in the third quarter here at Memorial Stadium in the Class D2 state championship game.
Yeah, they went back to the bread and butter, and Hymas thought they could get a big play, but Pongratz was not going to have it there, and it was probably a little bit too quick on the pitch.
Yeah.
I think Brummer's done a really good job throughout the game of really just influencing the defensive end and then getting into Hymas in a favorable position. Not so much right there, but Wynot is on the attack here. They got 15 yards to hit pay dirt.
Wynot 87 rushing yards on the day. They toss it left side. Here's Hymas, another chance, and he gets upended. Great job by Drake Berg taking both legs and throwing Hymas down for a gain of just 1 yard. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 10 now from the 16-yard line, and a massive opportunity here after Wynot finally forced Gage Hedstrom to make a mistake and throw an interception. St. Mary's could help their offense out here.
Yeah, you got to look at the clock where there's 12 seconds left or same amount on the game clock. You're trying to maybe get to the fourth quarter and get this momentum back if you're Wynot to see what you can do to get this lead.
And Brummer, along with the Wynot offense, is going to let this clock trickle to 000, and we will head to the fourth quarter of play. After 3 quarters of action, your score in the Class D2 state championship matchup, the Wynot Blue Devils 50 and the St. Mary's Cardinals 48. Don't go anywhere. We appreciate you tuning in wherever you may be. You're listening to State Football Matchups on 93.7 The Ticket.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, buckle up. Here we go. It is the start of the fourth quarter. 50-48 is your score. 3rd and 10 coming up in just a moment for the Wynot Blue Devils offense. Nick Sainert alongside the Husker Hall of Famer and former linebacker Jay Foreman. Here we go, Jay. Start of the fourth quarter, my friend, and we expect this one to be hotly contested till the very end.
Yeah, this is an exciting game. It's a well-coached game, and obviously you saw Berg there making a great tackle against Hymas, and it's executed, to the utmost. And you got star power, and then obviously you have the grinded out, part of it, which we've seen here in the second half by each team.
3rd and 10 from the 16. Brummer with the snap, looking to throw. He throws it right side, passes hauled in, and inside the 5 goes number 13 for the Wynot offense, Nixon Hymas.
Yeah, we haven't heard his name much as far as being in the offensive stat book. Obviously, Cotner Cook has taken over that, but when they went to him in the first half, he got a first down and almost a touchdown, and when they needed it the most, went right back to him right there to reset the scales for them in their favor to try to get a touchdown.
It is now 1st and goal from the 3. Direct snap. Here he goes. Cotner Cook. He'll be stopped short of the line to gain and stopped short of the goal line, as it'll be 2nd down and goal from inside the 1. Yeah. It was a direct snap to Cotner Cook. We've seen it before for way back in the first quarter. The Wynot offense and coaching staff likes to line up Hymas and Cotner Cook in the backfield. Sure. One of them takes the snap. You feel pretty good about your chances if you're Wynot with the ball in their hands.
Two of their best athletes and physical runners behind that big offensive line. They're trying to punch it here from the 1-inch line.
Same formation. Here he goes. Snap to Cotner Cook. Oh. He gets stood up. Did he get in Both sideline officials start rushing in, and the far sideline referee signals touchdown. Cotner Cook yet again scores from 1 yard out with 11:01 to go in the ball game. It's 56-48. Wynot?
Yeah, that had to be the second effort because Banks and company did a really good job on the initial contact against Cotner Cook, and I think he twisted and kept his legs turning and got in there barely for another touchdown. So now they have an 8-point lead with possibly extending it to 10 on this 2-point conversion, or they're going for an extra point. This is the first one all day, right?
Well, they showed
they
showed that they were going to attempt an extra point earlier and decided to go for 2. This extra point is on its way, and it is good. So with 11:01 remaining, it is a 2-possession ball game for the first time since the first quarter. Wynot leads it by 9, 57-48. With 11:01 to go in the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, a great job there by Wynot of recalibrating the calmness in between quarters because the first 2 plays in that red zone drive wasn't very successful. Then they went right back to Hymas. Then they went right back to Cotner Cook, and then they was able to punch it in there, and then they got the extra point. So now they're thinking, they can't really look at the clock because St. Mary's will score, as soon as they get possession of it within a couple plays. So they got to think, okay, what can we do defensively to slow down Hedstrom, right? And then obviously we got to make sure that we keep making Barlow work for everything that he gets. And that's the one thing I would say by Braylon Hans has done. Yes, he's been beat a couple times, and Barlow's made some excellent catches, but every single time Braylon Hans has made him work for it. And you go back to the second quarter, the controversial no call that went St. Mary's way. He kept playing through the echo of the whistle. I think that has to be the mentality for Wynot. Make St. Mary's drive the field, not allow them the explosive plays. And then obviously you have to do a better job of corralling Hedstrom because he's starting to crank it up in the run game.
How about this? Wynot has more points than total plays. They have 57 points, 53 total offensive plays on the day for the Wynot Blue Devils. Here on the return, Gage Hedstrom, he will field it and take it past the 30-yard line, tackle down at the 34-yard line with 10:55 to go in the fourth quarter. And there's plenty of time left in today's game. If you're just now joining us, got in your car to drive home from work, appreciate you hanging out with us. But St. Mary's, they've scored touchdowns on drives of 1 minute, 20 seconds, 1 minute and 4 seconds, 7 seconds, 47 seconds, 1 minute long. This is an offense that can score quick, score in a hurry, and it's led by Gage Hedstrom, who's out there at quarterback.
Yeah, the more you squib kick, the more you put him in a position to be extra aggressive offensively.
Here's Hedstrom up the middle on the quarterback keeper. He gets a nice gain of about 6 up near midfield to the 39-yard line.
Nick, I think both coaching staffs have made a little bit of an adjustment there at halftime to come out and be more methodical offensively. Obviously, they'll take the explosive plays if you give it to them, but especially for St. Mary's, who essentially was scoring within 2 or 3, maybe 4 plays at times in the first half, has taken a more of a methodical approach in and out of the huddle, going right back to Hedstrom. Hedstrom comes in with almost 1,800 yards rushing, was really kept in check in the first half, but he's starting to really, really crank up his numbers here in the third and fourth quarter. 2nd
down and 4. Hedstrom keeps it again. He's able to make one guy miss, just barrels his way across midfield, and he's in Wynot territory. He needed 4. He got 5. Moved the chains for the St. Mary's offense.
When you think about Hedstrom, I mean, I don't know what position he's going to play at the next level. Obviously, he plays on both sides of the ball and is excellent at whatever he does. But his ability to make people miss in really tight spaces is something that you can't teach. It's just a knack to twist his body, to get through creases, and then obviously he's a powerful runner running behind his pads.
6 feet tall, 180 pounds. Here's Hedstrom yet again, just continuing to carry the workload up the middle. Short gain on the play of 3. He'll be marked down at the 33-yard line of Wynot. 9:43 to play in the fourth quarter. Clock is starting to become a factor. You need 2 possessions. We talked about how quick you can score, but right now, St. Mary's not really even trying to throw it vertically.
Yeah, well, what they're doing is leaning on their all-star quarterback in Hedstrom. When you come in with 1,800 yards rushing, that's a lot of pounding for a quarterback. And so now they're starting to feel like they can wear down this Wynot defense with Hedstrom because they really softened them up with Barlow going over the top.
2nd down, here's the pass, looking downfield, throw is hauled in on the far sideline. There is number 8, James Eby, on the receiving end of that pass from Hedstrom. And so with 9:01 now inside 9 minutes left in the ball game, it's 3rd and 1.
As this clock ticks, the pressure starts to mount. But when you look at the offensive philosophy of St. Mary's, look how long they're in the huddle. But also the way that they're attacking this Wynot defense is more kind of how Wynot attacked them in the first half.
Sure.
Controlled passing game, heavy into the run game. The game of chess here between these two coaches and coaching staff.
St. Mary's comes in undefeated this season. Back to pass Hedstrom on 3rd and short. He tries to just go forward. He does not get the first down. However, there's a penalty flag thrown from the far sideline official. Hedstrom just a little slow getting up, but he seems to be okay as we wait for the official word from our far side official.
It was a little bit farther away to be holding. It might be defensive holding. Yeah. Yeah,
it is on the defense.
Remember, Hedstrom kind of faked like he was going to run. That made the defender pause and really, get his hands on the receiver. Receiver took off, so it was an easy penalty for the referee to throw the flag on him. So they get a first down there by circumstances. So now the Wynot has got to think about defending here. As you get into the red zone, if you play discipline, it becomes a little bit easier against a running quarterback. But the problem is, he has an excellent group of skill position guys that can get open, but more importantly, make 50-50 catches that hurt you at times all night.
So now it's 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line of Wynot. Here's the quarterback keeper. Hedstrom just goes in and gets swarmed up by 2 Wynot defenders.
That was a big hit there by Hymas, by Lane Hymas and Carter Hans there. They arrive with bad intentions. One hit him low, one hit him high to stop him for a gain of 1. Really, when you think about it, just overall all night, I got to give it to Wynot's defense. Their game plan was to come in and try to really corral Hedstrom as far as stopping him and running the ball. And they've done a good job up to now, even though he's had success here lately. They're a physical bunch here, and they're playing their heart out.
This drive taking a little more than 3 minutes of game time, but they're on the 17-yard line. Now a pass towards the end zone. It's hauled in. Is he in? He is. Touchdown, St. Mary's yet again. Gage Hedstrom able to find his target. This time it is James Eby for the score, and St. Mary's draws within 3.
Yeah, Hedstrom, I was thinking about more like, he's 6 foot, 180 pounds. What could he get up to play running back in college? The way he throws that pill, Nick, I think wherever he goes, you got to give him a shot at quarterback. To be able to drop it in there with that velocity and trajectory and on target and on time is a special skill that he has, and he's a heck of a young little player here.
We've seen some really impressive quarterback performances, not only from Cam Seeley in the D1 game, but both quarterbacks here. As a fumble on the snap for the 2-point conversion, Hedstrom's able to corral it. He chucks it up for dear life. 500 alive. It's tipped around, finally intercepted, and it will not be advanced on the 2-point attempt, but yet St. Mary's still draws within 1 possession. 57-54 is your score. Wynot leads by 3 with 7:42 to play in the 4th quarter. Let's step aside, come back in 30 seconds here as Wynot gets the ball back in the halfway point of the 4th quarter in the D2 state championship game on 93.7 The Ticket.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
St. Mary's, the Cardinals score a touchdown on a touchdown pass by Gage Hedstrom to James Eby. The 2-point conversion, 2-point try was unsuccessful as this kickoff is fielded by Wynot inside the 5. And here we go with the return across the 20 and just shy of the 25-yard line. St. Mary's trying to get their first state championship since 2002. It would be the 3rd state title in school history as they won one also in 1984. For Wynot and head coach for the Wynot Blue Devils, they're trying to find a way to get their first state championship in school history.
Yeah, a lot on the line, Nick. Obviously, you got two great offenses, a plethora of great players out here. You got the wide receiver duos going at it, and obviously the coaches are playing the chess match. And obviously, Wynot is trying to make history where St. Mary's is feel like that it's their destiny to win this championship. Wynot is not going away at all, and they're trying to right now. This is an interesting part of the game. There's 7 minutes and 37 seconds left. They've had a drive that actually lasted 7 minutes and 30-some seconds to finish or to score. So Wynot's thinking, okay, we got the lead. We want to score. We don't want to score too fast. But more importantly, you got to live in the moment because these last 4 or 5 minutes are going to be real time, 20 to 30 minutes. You got to play all the way through, and you got to execute. And you see them right now. They're trying to eat up the clock. They're trying to slow down the momentum, but you don't want to slow it down so much that you lose your rhythm. Yeah. I think Wynot enjoys playing it like this, but you don't want to play too slow that you get out of rhythm.
57-54. Yeah, you heard that right. We're playing football here. It's a 3-point ball game in the state title game. Now a pass down the near sideline. It's going to be hauled in and trotted in for the touchdown. Cotner Cook up the near sideline. How about Devin Brummer?
Well, remember in the first half, I said Hymas was open on a fake jail screen go route. They came, and I said they might come back to it later. They just swapped the guys out and with their Cotner Cook, and he was able to get it. You were not able to see it on the replay, right? You got the flat, and then you got the guy going up the sideline. A little trickery there by Coach Hymas to get back up by 9 points, trying to extend it to 10 here or 10 plus with either the extra point or 2-point conversion.
A 57-yard pitch and catch from Devin Brummer to Cotner Cook. 12th catch of the day for Cook, 253 receiving yards, and now 3 receiving touchdowns. Cook in totality, 5 total touchdowns. Wide receiver pass near side. It's hauled in. The 2-point attempt is successful, and it's now back to a 2-possession game. An 11-point lead, 65-54. Wynot in front with 6:42 to play.
Yeah, Wynot is up by 2 scores. They were up by 2 scores in the first half, right? You can't sit there. Worst thing you could do right now when you're trying to win your first championship, and more importantly, these kids were not worried about what didn't happen in the past. They're trying to win it right now. Is kind of just look at the goal line before you actively run and get there. And what I mean by that, don't look at the clock. There's 6 minutes and 42 seconds left. You have an explosive offense and a well-oiled machine over there that's really, really coached well over there by Coach Allen. And obviously you have the ultimate equalizer in Hedstrom. So you got to go out there and play defense. If I'm a defender, we don't want to give up any explosive plays in the first 2 or 3 plays. We don't want them to have momentum. What did I say before in a couple of series? Wynot has to take the mindset of we have to make St. Mary's earn everything. Now, look, they like to squib kick it, so that most likely St. Mary's will get it at or close to 40-yard line, so you know where how much you're trying to defend to get that state championship underneath your belt. But if you just blink, St. Mary's will be in the end zone, and the game will be 1-score game with about 5 minutes left.
We've seen St. Mary's at times go away from the vertical passing game, and I would imagine that the pressure is starting to build, and we start to see maybe the connection try to become reestablished. Try to get reestablished between Gage Hedstrom and guys like Ben Barlow and even maybe James Eby, even Lane Bybee.
Yeah, big game James Eby came up big while Barlow's been resting. Barlow is in the backfield now, so look for a little bit of a swing pass to try to get him the ball.
So here we go. They're back to pass, looking. Hedstrom going to take a shot downfield, has a man in open. It's hauled in inside the 10, and St. Mary's is in business. Guess who? That's number 8 for the St. Mary's Cardinals offense, James Eby.
Yeah, James Eby is taking up the slack for Barlow, and Hedstrom, they get that coverage, that one-on-one coverage without any inside help. And you see Braylon Hans is right there, didn't track the ball, tried to go for the swipe. Good job there by James Eby hauling it in there for explosive play.
St. Mary's back in business, 1st and goal just after 1 play on offense here, down by 11. 65-54 your score, though. Motion Barlow out to the right side. Quarterback keeper. There goes Hedstrom. Tries to flip over the defender. He'll be shy of the goal line, but does get about 4.5 yards, so it'll be 2nd and goal from inside the 1.
Yeah, this couldn't work out any better for Coach Allen. He was probably thinking I wanted to get explosive plays, and maybe the 2nd or 3rd play, the first play right off the gate, you get a big pass, and you're right on the goal line. to get a touchdown.
Here's Hedstrom as he tries to get in. He does. Touchdown, Cardinals. St. Mary's.
Just like that, St. Mary's is back on the scoreboard. When they took possession, there was 6 minutes and 42 seconds left. Now there's 5 minutes and 55 seconds left. You cannot relax against this offense, the juggernaut with St. Mary's. Now listen, you have a 5-point lead. Potentially the most or the least amount of lead you'll have is 3 if you're Wynot. You got to get right back to business, right? You just had an 11-point lead. Now you just let them go down the field in 2 plays. So now you got to regroup. So if I'm Coach Hymas over there, I'm not going to burn a timeout, but I'm going to make sure that we are all aware of the circumstances of what we have to do offensively after this 2-point conversion.
Hedstrom takes the snap on the 2-point attempt. He's looking right-sided. It is incomplete, no good. And now if you are St. Mary's, you're telling your defense you need to stop because
right
now after a couple of missed 2-point tries, it is still a 65-60 ball game with 5:55 to go in the fourth quarter. So
if I'm Coach Hymas, I'm making sure my special teams unit be on the alert for an onside kick or a squib kick because they might try to do what we've done to them. More importantly, because, St. Mary's is figuring if we can hold them to a field goal, right? It's more like that Wynot might go for a field goal to get an 8-point lead to send this to overtime. The worst-case scenario is that you want them to have a shorter field so you can get the ball back. Now, obviously, you can't sit there and forecast and say, okay, we're going to get a 60-yard play every single time we touch the ball. But we feel like we can be really, really explosive and take advantage of some of the coverages. Obviously, Wynot is running a lot of zero coverage because they're trying to stop Hedstrom. Hedstrom has been making them pay as far as connecting with Barlow, and now he's been connecting with James Eby here in the second half.
5 minutes, 55 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. It's 65-60. St. Mary's trails by 5. They have the ball teed up, ready to kick it back to the Blue Devils of Wynot. As the kicker approaches it, it's going to be a high, short kick on the fly by the return man at the 27-yard line. Has some space, now gets pushed out of bounds, shy of midfield at the 36.
Yeah, a little bit of a pooch kick that you were hoping that Braylon Hans was going to fair catch, but he was able to return it for a pretty sizable gain. So now, if I'm Wynot, I like this scenario. I'm up by 5. We can always go to Hymas in the run game. We feel like our controlled passing game has been excellent all game. You don't need to play out of sorts. You don't need to look at the clock. You need to just go out there and execute first downs and no penalties, no negative yards. Get your first state championship in school history.
65-60 your score. 5 minutes, 50 seconds to play in the fourth quarter of the D2 state championship game. Shotgun snap. They turn, hand it off. Hymas in traffic, dives forward for a gain of 4.5, maybe 5 yards, and that's going to bring up second and medium. The big thing for Wynot, stay on schedule here.
Yeah, they got to stay on schedule. The Hymas up the middle, which they haven't been able to establish. That run game in the second half really worked out well. Why is that, Nick? Because when you look at St. Mary's defensively, when you got Cotton or Cook over here, they are double covering him. So that took one more guy out of the box. And also, let's be aware for Wynot, almost a mishandled snap there on the quarterback exchange with the running back.
65-60 your score, 5:15 to play. They turn, hand it off. Hymas has a first down and more. In traffic goes Hymas, finally taken down in enemy territory at the 29-yard line of St. Mary's. It is a 1st and 10 coming up for the Wynot offense, and that means 3 or 4 more plays to allow this clock to keep on running.
Yeah, big man is starting to wear people down. He got a little bit of a stymied in his progress in the third quarter, and I think Coach Hymas was saving his son a little bit for the fourth quarter because he's a big hammer back there. When you had Cotton or Cook, obviously taking a major load in the third quarter, so Hymas is going to try to finish this game out here from the running back.
Gain of 11 on second down makes it 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. The shotgun snap, they turn, hand it off. Hymas gets stood up, loss of 1 on the play. Hymas, that was his 23rd carry of the day.
Yeah, Hymas has been the workhorse, and he's kind of kept everything for this Wynot offense on schedule. And this is the first time in a while he's been tackled behind the line of scrimmage. But it was a good job there by Mr. Eli Banks of knifing in there and tripping him up there so he couldn't get any forward momentum. So now it's 2nd and 11. They're not rushing out of the huddle. It's going to be interesting to see when they start to snap the ball. Every second counts. as you're trying to close out this game for a championship.
We are inside 4 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. 65-60. Wynot leads by 5. They run an option to the left side. Brummer is going to keep it. He bounces off his own guy, still on his feet. That's a first down for the Wynot Blue Devils.
Brummer got stymied, ran into his own blocker. Everybody stopped, and he was like, oh, I didn't get hit or touched or I'm not hitting the ground. I'm going to go ahead and get us a first down. So as much as it looked like they were behind schedule, even though he went out of bounds and stopped the clock, it's like you said, still 3 or 4 more plays getting into enemy territory. If I'm Coach Allen in St. Mary's, he has 3 timeouts left. If I see my defense getting a little bit tired, I might have to call a timeout because we have to get a game plan to hopefully get this ball back.
65-60 is your score. 3:46 to play in the fourth. Snap, keeper, Brummer spun around, and he is fumble on the play. It is recovered by
Brummer.
Wynot.
Oh, Brummer was trying to switch or trying to really spin himself out of there. Spun too many times. Good job there by St. Mary's of raking the ball out there. Watch this, Johnny on the spot. Look at this. The bounces. That might be a championship-winning bounce because you had James Eby right there going for it. That might be the game-winning play. And it was a negative 6 yards as far as a tackle for loss.
It's not like St. Mary's didn't have a guy there to recover it. It just, fortunately, the way the ball is shaped, bounced into the lap of the Wynot quarterback. Here we go, 2nd and 16 from the 25-yard line. Option to the right side. They toss it late. Here's Hymas. He breaks the tackle inside the 10. Did he get the first down? No. He's about a yard shy to bring up third down and short.
This is decision time, Nick, right? We always talk about this. You got to have 2 play calls. You got to have you going for the win or you going not to lose. Now, the reason why I'm saying that, it's about 3rd and 2. So you're playing this. You get a first down. You might not be hearing her sing from 1040 O Street, but you're starting to hear some echoes.
Jay, I mean, I will say this. That was really impressive by Devin Brummer because initially, right, when you take that snap, you start to you read one guy on the option to see whether or not you want to pitch it.
Yeah.
Brummer elected to just keep on running, which was the right call.
Yeah.
And he pitched it really late. There was already a block being made on the perimeter. They ran past him.
Yeah.
Great job by Hymas to continue running with him.
Yeah.
And then a late pitch allowed it to get an 18-yard gain.
Those are the fundamentals with every year that I'm sure that Coach Hymas, kind of probably just hammers home with his quarterbacks and running backs. When we're running option, you don't get it away. You get it right away. You don't stop. You go right down the line because you never know when you're going to get it and potentially be a game-sealing play. That's something that obviously they ran a lot more option when I was playing here at Nebraska. You'd see that all the time in practice with Tommy Frazier and the Lawrence Phillips and the Mon Greens, Damon Bennings, and those type of guys. And obviously Brooke Behringer did it as well, executing the option way down the field.
So out of the St. Mary's timeout, they've identified this as a sequence. They need a stop. 3rd down and 2 from the 9-yard line for the Wynot offense, up by 5. Brummer in the shotgun. And now we have a penalty flag, and it's going to be a false start on Wynot. Now, here's what's crucial. In that moment, Brummer was out of the game. Brummer is standing on the sideline.
Yeah.
I misspoke. They did the 2 skill position
there
matchup.
You go. Just a little bit of a twitch. And I'll talk about this. Sometimes when you run the Wildcat, right, and you get under pressure moments, the cadence from Cotner Cook calling it versus Brummer can make somebody jump offside.
Here's Cotner Cook, left side. He gets tripped up shy of the line to gain. It's going to be 4th down and 4 from the 12-yard line. 4th and 5 is what they're calling it. So here's what the options are. You can go for it on 4th and effectively end this one. You can kick a field goal, make it an 8-point game, which would require a touchdown and 2 points, and it appears that Wynot is going for it.
Quick decision,
4th
too. I
and
like
5, 2:21 to play. D2 title game. They're going to try the hard count, and it is unsuccessful to this point. Brummer still lined up in the shotgun, and we have a timeout called by the Wynot Blue Devils as they will kick the field goal, or at least we expect them to attempt the field goal.
Would you kick the field goal?
I would. 4th and 5. If you're St. Mary's down by 8, you failed the previous 3 2-point conversion attempts, you have to not only get a touchdown with only one timeout left in your back pocket, but also get the 2-point conversion to just tie it up. 65-60 is where we stand. Man.
Say that again. This is like a basketball.
65-60.
This is a basketball.
We will have lower scoring games in
You
March.
sure about that?
We should make
in March. Yeah.
March.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I do not expect our Class B title game tonight to be 125 total points, though.
I can't wait for that, though. Gretna East just came out of nowhere. New school.
As an
We're
entire
here.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's special. Waverly trying to get a title. It's going to be good tonight. 7:15 kickoff. Jay and I will bring you that one here from this very same spot. All right. They bring the offense onto the field, Jay Foreman. Here we go.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go for the championship.
4th and 5. St. Mary's needs a stop. Wynot needs a first down to capture their first state title in school history. Shotgun formation. Snap back Brummer. Rolls to the right. Pressure up the middle. Throws off his back foot. A receiver falls down, and he catches it.
No, he didn't.
He catches it. He was sitting down, butt on the turf, and it fell into his lap.
Oh, Nick, you talk about Barlow's catch, right, with the one-handed catch, OBJ. That's the other one that's going to go to ESPN.
It's a touchdown for Wynot.
Yes, Cotner Cook, look at this. Slips, right? Slips, gets tripped up, chilling.
He falls down, and he catches it while sitting on the turf. He couldn't move. It went over the outstretched arm of Ben Barlow. Oh, my gosh.
Cotner Cook is that man. 13 targets, 13 catches, been flat out unstoppable.
And the point after is blocked. I'm just speechless. 2:04 to go in the fourth quarter. I mean, folks, he caught it. He fell down. He was sitting at if there was no temporary lines.
Look at this.
He caught it while sitting at the 5-yard line, which is in the end zone for 8-man football here at Memorial Stadium, in between the hashes and the numbers.
Look at
just in front of the south end zone. He sat there. He couldn't get up. He didn't have time. It fell in his lap over the outstretched arm of Ben Barlow, who was in coverage. Everyone is in shock. Look at all the St. Mary's defenders. They just sat there. They didn't know how to react because a guy just caught a touchdown pass with 2:04 left in the state championship game while sitting on his behind in Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, that's one of the most amazing plays that I've ever seen. Gets jammed up, fell over. He had 6 touchdowns tonight, 265 yards, and his last catch potentially in this state championship game, he was sitting on his backside catching the state championship winning touchdown, man. And look, this is true. This is one of the best games we've called. This is the most exciting game I think we've called in a very long time. 2 excellent teams, well coached, but man, there's been some highlight reel plays all day long.
I mean, I'm still in shock as we have resumed play. EB gets the short kick. I mean, if you're Ben Barlow on that St. Mary's sideline, now you have a chance. Barlow, who is a spectacular wide receiver on the day, Barlow on the offensive side of the ball, 6 catches, 139 yards, 2 scores through the air. You have a chance to go make that play back,
you
right?
You got to go make that
but
play back.
My, oh,
man.
my.
And that's just a once-in-a-lifetime play. You never expected anybody to catch it on their backside, let alone Brummer throwing it up for grabs deep in the end zone. The guy that's sitting down is the one that catches it.
Here we go, a free rusher right up the middle. Hedstrom hesitates. He gets tripped up, and he's taken down 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and it'll be second down and about 15 coming up from the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Nixon Hymas did a really good job as a secondary rusher. We asked for more blitzes from Wynot, and they've been bringing it in the second half, and they've been able to hit pay dirt a few times on Hedstrom.
Hedstrom in empty shotgun formation, back to pass, looking, throws it downfield, has an open receiver. It was almost caught, then it was almost intercepted, but the ball hits the turf incomplete, and we'll do it at 3rd and 14.
Braylon Hans almost was going to get a game-sealing interception there, and that would have been 6 points. There would have been no questions asked. This game was over off the tip drill, what you do all the time, but Wynot likes their position. Now they're looking at it. Minute and 28 seconds, 68 seconds from being a state champion. first time in school history.
We have a stoppage in play, I think. We have an official's timeout here as there was a equipment malfunction on the far side. It looked like number 36, Eli Banks, was bleeding. He's got to go get some tape on that left leg. We're ready to go, though. 1:28, 3rd and 14. Wynot up by 11, 71-60 here in the D2 state championship game. Hedstrom back to pass, steps up, throws across the middle, passes hauled in, 1st down and more for Ben Barlow as he goes out of bounds. And it'll be a 1st down for St. Mary's as this drive stays alive. It's not done yet. You can score a touchdown. You get the 2-point, and you got to get the onside kick.
Yeah, but you got to score first. And this Wynot defense is playing that deep shell of a zone, and they are cranking up the pressure. They've changed out their defensive line. They have all essentially hybrid linebackers out there. Parker Schmidt is on the sidelines, and then now you have the Hans brothers, and along with Hymas there rushing the quarterback, trying to put more pressure on Hedstrom.
3 wideouts, far side of the field. Hedstrom takes the snap, looking, throws across the middle. Pass is hauled in. No, it's incomplete.
Incomplete pass there, and I think what they're doing, they're kind of running a D-line stunt, and then they're bringing the linebacker late to rush the process of a Hedstrom, even though he has plenty of time left in the game. They're trying to force him into throwing a pass that he really doesn't want to throw at the time.
2nd down and 10, 1 minute and 13 seconds remain. 71-60 is your score here in the Class D2 football state championship game. 2nd down and 10 from the Wynot side of midfield. Hedstrom back to pass, looking, throws off 1 foot to a sliding receiver near that line to gain. He'll be about a yard shy is Ben Barlow. And so 3rd down and very short coming up with less than 60 seconds to play, 58 and counting. They're going to spike it on 3rd down and 1. So now this is the game. 4th down and 1.
Yeah, and you have 1 timeout left. We talk about clock management all the time, right?
Sure do.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's probably want to get the 1st down and maybe, clock it after that. But if somehow, some way, Wynot is able to stop them from getting a yard, they are your state champion.
Here we go, 4th and 1. Empty shotgun set, Hedstrom back to pass, looking, late blitz, throw across the middle. It's picked off. It's intercepted. Guess who? Himes takes it away, and now Cotner Cook has it. As Cotner Cook, Jay Foreman, that man continues to show up time and time again. He just caught the touchdown pass for Wynot a few moments ago, and this time he comes away with an interception.
Yeah, it's only fitting that he has another reception there, but as a defender getting an interception off a tip pass, excellent ball skills, catch it. He probably could have took it back for a potential 6 more points, but does the smart thing, kneels it down. Now it's just a formality for these Wynot Blue Devils. Now they get a penalty here. Wynot Blue Devils well in the double digits penalty-wise. Hasn't affected him too much, but they have 47 seconds, and St. Mary's has 1 timeout. That is, I do hear it now.
They're going to have to kneel it down 2 times.
But do you hear her singing?
I do.
She is sung. Congrats to them.
Wynot in the victory formation. Devin Brummer takes the snap, kneels it down. 44 seconds on the game clock, 37 on the play clock, so they will have to kneel it down one more time. We'll be sending it back to our 93.7 The Ticket Studios in between this final and the start of our next one, as they're about ready to give the Wynot sideline a Gatorade shower here. As they are working on it, another quarterback kneel, and all that's left are the seconds to tick off as we see them carry the Gatorade cooler over to their head coach, and there he goes. It's a Gatorade bath on, Jay, I'm going to say it, a 50-degree day in Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, but the wind is picked up by 4 miles per hour, so it's probably about 30 degrees outside.
So your final score, the Wynot Blue Devils, for the first time in school history, are state champions. They win it 71-60 in an absolute thriller.
Yeah.
This game had everything, Jay. Explosive plays, turnovers, incredible individual performances. This was everything we could have asked for.
Yeah, everything. It exceeded expectations. You had an undefeated team in St. Mary's coming in, and obviously Wynot came in with one loss, 11-1. Something had to break, and Wynot had a little bit more in the tank. But, man, this was an excellent game. Well coached, star power, excellent football, scoring, highlight reel plays by both teams. And obviously the last one by Cotner Cook will go down in Wynot history. You got to think, man, he is unstoppable, with 13 catches or 13 targets, 13 catches, 256, 70 yards. But his last one got knocked down, catches it, Brummer on 4th down to win the state championship.
This was the game of the quarterbacks for sure. Devin Brummer, 23 of 26 through the air, 394 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. He added 15 rushing yards as well, but Gage Hedstrom on the other side can't lose sight of his performance in this one. 17 of 30, 347, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. Also added 3 rushing touchdowns and 59 rushing yards today. And man, what a fun afternoon matchup between the Wynot Blue Devils and the St. Mary's Cardinals. So St. Mary's haven't won a title since 2002. They'll search and keep searching for that one. But for Wynot, the first state championship in school history, as they lost their 3rd game of the season. But most importantly, they won the biggest, 71-60, to capture the elusive D2 championship game. Now, we turn our attention to Class B action in our nightcap later today, 7:15 p.m. kickoff, 7 p.m. pregame coverage right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Waverly and Gretna East. Waverly's been one of the best teams in a Class B that we're not used to being this wide open, but it was this year. And then on the other sideline, the new kids on the block in the big picture of it all, Gretna East comes in, first state championship appearance in football for them tonight.
Yeah, 2 teams that have had to work their way up, obviously, kind of wait their turn as dominance from Bennington and obviously Scott been, on the table here, it seems like forever. And they've been knocking at the door. Waverly was a little bit closer, than Gretna East last year. Both of them lost heartbreaking games in the playoffs, went back in the offseason. And obviously, both of them are here live on stage. This is going to be like this game. Obviously not going to be 71-60, but you have 2 teams that are new to this territory. So and they don't know each other because Gretna East is is a new high school. Yeah. And so the coaches know a little bit about each other. I like this game. I like this matchup. I can't wait. This is probably the most exciting game, or I'm most excited for this Class B championship.
We'll have coverage 7 p.m. later this evening from this very same spot on the 6th floor of Memorial Stadium. Now, don't go anywhere. We'll send it back to our 93.7 The Ticket studios. It's the Tom Chattel Hour as he talks all things Husker football with our very own Austin Orman, taking you from the 6 to 7 p.m. hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket. That is us saying so long for now. We'll talk to you in a little bit more than 60 minutes here from Memorial Stadium. Congratulations to the Wynot Blue Devils, their first state championship in school history, a thrilling 71-60 victory over the St. Mary's Cardinals. For the Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman, Nick Sainert saying so long for now from the D2 state championship game on 93.7 The Ticket.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about.